Well, we were doing really good on this episode. We just got to get through the culture piece.
We haven't been doing good at all.
We have, in the parts that we're actually going to go into the show, we were great. If I cut out the long stretches of horror stories, there's a great episode here.
In the first aeon, I was the Great Spirit. In the second aeon, men knew me as the Horned God, Pangenitor, Panphage. In the third aeon, I was the Dark One, the Devil. In the fourth aeon, men knew me not, for I am the Hidden One. In the fifth aeon, I appeared before you as Baphomet, the God before all gods, who shall endure to the end of the earth. In this new aeon, I appear to you as CMN.
Imagine that there is a brilliant white light just above.
Is commentary on the magic art.
In the years of the primal force, in the dawn of terrestrial birth.
Oh, that was very educational.
Now magic will take place. Don't be fooled by what I just said.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Spilled Milk Kennedy, and this is Chaos Magic News. Nothing is fruit, everything is persimmon. Joining me is my incredibly affordable co-host, Costo. How you doing, Costo? Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. That's
it's an anagram.
It's like Costco.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have lots of you, but you're also cheap?
I don't think I could get any cheaper.
Not for any less than $5 a month over on the Patreon. See, there's a reason for that joke. Also joining us, as always, is our wonderful Gary behind the glass there. Everyone give a wave to Gary.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're all doing well. If you're not, I don't want to hear from you.
If you got problems, keep them over there. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Should we be calling you Gary behind the glass? We never plug your stuff. It's like Gary Creates on Instagram and everything else like that, right?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
don't
it.
tell people about my stuff.
They don't need to know about my snuff films, and we don't need to talk about. Actually, that's a terrible joke. Never mind. Let me retract.
No, it's fine because
if you did want to rebrand as Gary behind the glass, I think that'd go well for you. I think
Gary behind the glass creates a problem.
Is everyone doing good today?
Yeah, I'm great.
Right.
I'm doing pretty good, man.
I'm good. You're good. He's good. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna get right into the episode.
We're gonna be good
because we have spent an hour trying to start this.
You want to hear that conversation, like Kennedy was saying? Just head on over to the Patreon, and
I don't know if they're gonna get that on Patreon.
Well, they'll get something a little cool.
You'll get something.
So we make a joke about something that might be on the Patreon, and then it's not really there. Shocker. That's never happened before.
Anyway.
Okay. All right, so we wanted to get right into the show then. So let's do our opening discussion. Co-host, you saw an interesting little thing that you wanted to talk about. Would you like to share with the class?
There is a Facebook group called Asian Spiritual Shitposting. And with a name like that, it's going to be grade A content. But I did actually see something that I think was maybe worth a couple minutes of discussion. And if you will just allow me to pull up the post.
Oh, you got to pull it up. No. In fact, we're going directly to the news now. Hope you're happy. Gary, did you have an idea for an opening topic since co-host has let us down?
If you guys head over to my Instagram, Gary Creates, I've been working on some
making egg boys.
Doing egg shit.
Magic was a sandwich. Would it come with a pickle spear? That's the opening topic.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that.
No.
What kind of sandwich would Magic be?
No, shut up. I've got the post. Someone posted an image of a particular wrathful deity in the Tibetan tradition and said, I don't know this one. Can anybody help me identify it? And rather than identifying it, somebody said, Hi, are you by chance a Vajrayana practitioner? May I kindly request that you take down this post if you don't have the empowerments for the Yidam and are not a Lama / qualified Vajrayana Buddhist teacher. These are not to be displayed in public, especially that this Thanga appears to depict a Yidam from a wrathful practice, which is supposed to be secret.
What was the response? Like,
it said, "Get fucked."
Yeah,
nerd.
get fucked.
And
You
then he
fucking
posted
pussy.
he posted 17 more images. No, actually, it got what somebody actually pointed out was that this is a public one. This is not one that would be subject to those sort of vows to keep it secret, keep it safe. There's no obligation to hide it or keep it. It's one of these things that just gets around.
Right.
But then the other thing is that, bro, it was the guy got it from the internet. He didn't it wasn't like he didn't sneak into a temple and take pictures of it.
This wasn't like
and
a
then spread this
a
around.
scratched like thing on parchment from a temple
Yeah.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
this guy
this
didn't
was-
go he wasn't like, hey guys, I just stole a bunch of stuff from the English museum. Does anyone know where in Tibet this comes from? You know what I mean?
Hey
Like-
guys, I beat up this nerd in a robe
and a yellow hat.
I
Look at
took
this
his
dork.
wife. He's got this thing. I think it's his fucking waifu. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna fuck it though, out of like posterity.
This is like a Yidam body pillow situation. I don't
A
know.
Yidam body pillow.
You want to talk about things that are disrespectful? That would be a disrespectful one.
Be brutal.
My
Well,
Yamantanka body pillow.
Oh boy, you can't. It doesn't matter. You can't. You're not gonna hurt them. You can't
No.
hurt a Yidam, bro. Like they're fine.
They're immortal, is what I hear.
I mean, there's a lot of nuance in all of
I
this.
know.
Anyway, look,
Being
look,
very,
okay.
very
No,
contrary.
but I think the bigger thing to point to here is that in the age of the internet, in the proliferation of not just like Western esotericism, but just anything, if like you want to know about voodoo, it might be a closed practice, but you can find stuff. You can also find a lot of people lying to you, but discernment.
Yeah, there's no shortage of people lying to you about Buddhism too. So
Yeah.
but I think in particular, what strikes me about it is that like someone would even have that response, because you would kind of assume that unless it was like, wait a minute, that's the one that my Lama told me that I better keep secret and keep off the internet. You just kind of assume that like, oh well, I guess
feels
this
a
is
little-
just somebody's thing, right?
It
You wouldn't
feels a
assume
little
that
gatekeepy. It feels a little like policey.
Well, it's
you're
like
trying
gatekeeping
hey,
to
you know-
whom though? Like who
Yeah.
gives a shit like about? I mean, I understand that. Let me backtrack a little bit. I understand that this is a sacred practice and that there's fundamental reasons for that. But you're on the internet telling somebody that, like,
right? Yeah,
who's gonna police that?
It's very toothpaste out of the tube where the damage is done. You can literally sit in on think of a Yidam. You can probably sit in on a virtual empowerment ceremony, and you can find them on YouTube and everything else. So it's like, now I understand that is not the same as getting the empowerment, but you can see everything that's going on. You can read most of the text. I mean, a lot of them probably haven't been translated in a way you might find satisfactory, but a huge chunk of them have. There's
Right.
everything I know about the Yamantanka practice has not been, I didn't get a Lama to back me on, to pop me on the head and say that I could do it. I studied and looked into it. I wouldn't claim that I have anything from it, but I've studied it. I've done what amounts to the sadhanas and stuff like that. I've done the practices to the best of my ability, but I'm a coyote. So like
It's done what it has to do for you. Yeah.
I don't think that the practices don't work if you didn't have the guy in a funny hat say that you're allowed to do it either. But that's my particular bend.
Right. No, totally.
But-
That's it also boils again the internet thing of just how about like don't tell people what to do on the internet. It's none of your business. And also it's like
Did this guy, well, it almost gives the appearance, and I'm not saying this to dog on this individual. It's more of the exploration of it was doing nothing. These
Right.
images are all over. The texts are all over. You don't even have to pay for them a lot of the time. And it's not, I'm not going to say that it's necessarily a good thing, because you could argue that it's probably in some cases a bad idea that yahoos like me can get their hands on what is supposed to be the penultimate of the tantras, because it combines
Right.
mother and father tantra and everything else. So, you know, maybe an idiot like me might do something with it and then fuck myself up. Or at least I accrue so much negative karma that I have to come back as like a sea sponge 100,000 times before I get another go around.
Oh man, I'm
But-
dirt again.
It goes you, the dirt, the worms inside of the dirt.
Yep.
But then breaking out, like it's like, you know, the voodoo example and things like that. It's like is there a point to telling anybody that you have to get the initiations now? I don't mean in the idea of like, oh, you shouldn't bother ever getting the initiations. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. But is there a point to telling somebody, hey, you can't do that unless you get the thingamajig, you know? Unless you're not a grade, you're not a grade 7, so you can't do long division or whatever the hell.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I was about to get into. Is I think there is a place for initiation. I do think there's a place for being an orthodox, for lack of a better word, member of a, you know, organization, of a religious or an occult bet. I think there's places for that. I think that in your practice there are places for having rules and things and being told that you're not allowed to do this sort of thing until someone who is authorized in some sense or has experience with these practices says, okay, you can do it. But I also think that there are always ways around that sort of thing. And, you know, ultimately I'm a coyote still. So just like you, I went and got my bootleg empowerment for Simhamuka, which is, you know, a particular deity with a sadhana and various practices, and particularly associated with like protecting people from like bad magic and curses and such. There's like a clapping ritual that you do and stuff. Huh, I just saw Shiva on my TV screen behind me. Sorry. But yeah, so I went through that virtually. I watched the people do it. I did the things that they were supposed to do, and I even had the moment where the empowering guru, you know, did the thing directly at the camera for people. And I don't know if that was the intention or what was the point of, but I just had the feeling that if I go through this, I'm going to have some sort of metaphysical change that is going to allow me to do this properly, because for whatever reason I felt like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to do this unless I get the empowerment to do it. And if that's what it requires, sure, do it. You know, I mean, if you can go see a guru and do this sort of thing and you have the ability and time to commit to it, great.
Oh yeah, but like that's not accessible to everybody, and therefore, like, don't be.
Yeah, it's
a
also
jerk
just
about
not
it.
something. It's also just not something that's going to work for everybody. Again, like
Right.
I'm not a Buddhist in any conventional sense. That's probably why I wouldn't get the empowerments, because I'm going to be like,
They
well, yeah, I
wouldn't give
agree
it
with
to
a
you.
lot of that. Yeah, they're like, nah, you are on some weird shit.
Well, there's somebody else in the comment section made a point that there was a practical purpose for not revealing the wrathful emanations or the wrathful deities, right? Because if you showed a layman that, or particular, like, hey, if some, you know, colonizer from the West or something saw that, they might think you're a fucking devil worshiper. And they're like, I knew it. I knew those Buddhists were on some fucked up shit. I knew
Right.
it. I fucking knew it. You know, let's bulldoze their temple.
Bulldozer temple, take all their people and their money.
So there was practical purposes for this. And I think the guru empowerment thing also goes into that. I'm not so certain that it necessarily came out of the idea that there was some sort of transfer of power that had to happen. On a practical level, you could easily just say that you needed somebody who had been there, who knew what to do, to say, you know what, I think you're ready for this, or or show you how to do it right.
Right. It could have
But-
been handled in a totally different way.
Where at the very least there were a lot of levels to why and how this system functioned. But in a lot of ways, it's not it's not obsolete. It's outdated. It hasn't kept up with the wonders of internet piracy. You know, we'll steal your gods out from under you.
We'll download cars out here, folks. You don't fucking
Unless,
understand. Like,
perhaps you wouldn't download a Yedom, would you?
you wouldn't down. That's a fucking
that's
shirt.
the thumbnail. Oh yeah.
in that fucking in that text, that font.
It's just a PDF. It says solitary by Ravra. Solitary Hero by Rava PDF. No, God damn it. You know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
I won't go too deep into it because I feel like it'll derail the whole conversation. But I think there's some validity to the idea of I don't know. I want to use a big word here, but like ontological change from initiation, like the proverbial, the guru pats you on the head and it does a thing. Padma Sambhava in certain Terma traditions has spoken about the idea of like the empowerment opening the seed or releasing the seeds of karma, and that they were, it's necessary that the seed has been planted before through your previous lives, but it also needs to be able to sprout and grow in order for you to get anywhere. But I think I'm not sure how much of that is, more of the not exactly like a book curse, but that kind of idea of like, us getting told that like, oh well, no, you better not practice the empowerment rituals without them, because if you don't, it's not going to work right and you're never going to get anywhere.
And you're stupid. And also, you're wrong. And my dad works at Nintendo, so.
My dad works at the Sangha.
All that aside, I think ultimately I'm fine with people wanting to protect their practices, do whatever you want, but also just recognize that you're on the internet, and like, it's one thing to be like, look, don't, it's one thing to know for a fact that something is part of like your closed off practice and you need people to not be talking about it on the internet and sharing pictures of it. It's another to be wrong about it.
I guess that is another point, is they were
That's
wrong.
kind of my thing. That's what makes me think that this is like this is an individual's misplaced enthusiasm for being such a cool guy, and knowing that it's knowing that you're not supposed to be sharing the pictures of the thongas.
Hey, you're supposed to burn your copy of the Book of the Law after you read it.
Did you know that Snape killed Dumbledore?
Oh man, speaking of books, I wish I could burn.
Hey,
hey, I'm Dice.
Hey,
Hickory Dickory Squatter.
Get out of here. Go. No. Okay. One more question, actually. Do you guys consider the possibility that perhaps the lamas and the monks and in all of their different little cloisters and monasteries know that the internet is like spreading their shit, and they're like, oh man, we have to make Yedoms 2.0 and then hide them.
Yedoms 2.0.
They got to make like
they're making them like fucking rare Pepes. Is that what you're saying?
NFTs.
Yeah.
This deity is non-fungible.
It's on the blockchain.
Guys, that goes against everything about the nature of transientness. Like,
no, it's forever.
You guys are wrong.
And it uses electricity at all times.
The Buddha all the bodhisattvas screaming in agony and horror as they see people frozen in samsara by the blockchain.
Reincarnation, more like things I charge indefinitely.
Or they just like, man, look, all right, guys, here's the new blind, all right? All of the sadhanas, you started with your left foot, but now all of them are gonna start with the right foot, okay?
And then we're gonna put the left foot out after that after a couple of millennia, and then we're
just
gonna shake
Masons
it all
like changing up the handshake to keep the old members paying their dues.
It used to go flower, perfume, fire. Now it goes perfume, fire, flower.
Oh, okay, I fucked up. I'm so stupid. I'm so fucking
stupid. Idiot. You stupid. You're shit. Again.
I should have gotten empowerment from this before I posted this fucking picture.
Man. All right. Hey, that's a good one. So, 2 questions. 1,
edit that out. We can't let them know the secret. It is actually against. You don't have the empowerment. So
yeah, that's true.
That can't make it into the episode.
I'm gonna sue everybody that
can't make it into the episode. Oh, hold on. We can circle back to this, because you know what this actually fucking sounds like?
What?
Like what they're trying to do with like the copyright, the Crowley books.
Oh yeah. You are right.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're going right into that?
No, I'm 100%. Like, I'm not doing this as a segue to talk about stuff. well, that we'll get to. But like, no, it really is. It's that it is that kind of shit where it's like there's a PDF of every, you know what? There was an episode where we said like you trip over 4 Crowley books walking down the fucking street.
Right.
yeah.
But meanwhile, there are dickheads that are actually think that like, no, we need to copyright this and make sure that we can make money off of it.
Guys, we've
Because it's
forgotten
very-
the
because
main purpose of magic, capitalism.
Yeah, and at the same time, there's tons of shit that remains unpublished, and they're never going to publish it. And there's reasons for that too.
Well, he says a lot of really bad slurs in a couple of his books, I hear. So
Oh, he does, but
those are the ones that got published.
we had a very nice, serious discussion about the idea of secrecy in magic and initiation. So that's a very nice intro for us for once. And do we want to ruin it by laughing at weird, dumb things said on the internet about magic?
Okay, I want to hear how good it is, and then I'll figure out if it's bad, we can just cut it out of the episode. But I say let's take the gamble,
I'm in.
risk it for the biscuit.
Yep. We're gonna get some
Okay.
biscuits, boys.
Well, in that case, this is going to be Banish with laughter.
That actually scared the fuck out of me. But to be
It's
fair,
been so long
I-
since we've done it. Like you forgot that weird ass laugh was coming.
That was awesome.
That's my normal laughing voice, guys. It's not weird.
We have people listen to you on this
Don't
show.
call me weird.
Don't call
multiple
him
times
weird.
a week.
Hey,
Stop
hey,
calling
Kennedy.
me weird, liberals.
Fucking liberal cucks.
You call me weird because I have sex with furniture.
You're weird
You have me
because you
weird
want
because
like
I
regular
want
rights.
everyone to have white babies, and I fuck couches. You think I'm weird for that? You're the weird one.
You're the weird ones. I'm perfectly normal and American.
Single person clapping.
That's me.
Okay, so co-host posted a little meme that was, you know, the typical kind of things you see over on our socials. It's a picture of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz with a Crowley hat on, looking shocked, and it says, "When you bought the $100 grimoire and realize you still have to do the work." You know,
Yeah.
pretty funny. You know,
It's pretty good.
typical kind of thing we do. So someone reposted that with the caption, "Just learn ancient languages and go to the source," or something to that effect, right?
Just put
That's-
on your ancient language pants.
Just learn Latin, bro. Just learn it. Why don't you know it already? You're like
Dead's only
8.
dead because you won't keep it alive. You're the problem, dude.
If you would just start speaking Latin at the grocery store,
If you would just start
The Latins
ordering
would still be
DoorDash
here.
with Latin terminology, then everything would be
What
better.
do you mean you don't speak ancient Sumerian?
yeah. So that on its own wouldn't really be worthy of like a Banish with laughter. It's not a particularly bad thing to say, even like, you know, we're taking the piss out of it, but it's not like that's
No, it's
a-
good.
that's just kind of like a thing. The response that he got from this friend of his, I think, is what got me. They said, "Ahem. Do you mean Hebrew and it's 22 letters? Question mark. Or by source, quotation marks. Do you mean the 22 pairs of chromosomes that make a human being? Parentheses, the one other pair determines gender."
Okay.
Know thyself, Wizard emoji.
Whoa, buddy, pal, friend of mine. Maybe not my friend. Oh my god. Whoa. What?
There's a lot to unpack there.
That's
you know,
a
for
lot.
only being like 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, and not even complete sentences in some cases, and an emoji. There's a lot of information going on.
I just found out, like we just figured out who this person was.
Right. Yeah. Like
What
we
they're
know a lot
about.
more about this person. Co-host, you're awful quiet. What do you think?
Well, he was trying to find all the evidence of him writing that, trying to get it removed from the internet.
Trying to scrub it from the internet
Yeah.
so no one knows I said dumb stuff. No, I just want to make a chromosome joke, but like there's
It's really hard.
It's not nice. It's like it's really mean. You shouldn't say. But oh boy. Oh, by the way, the whole like The last one corresponds to your gender. Why is that one left off? Why is that the only pair that's left off? Yeah, like why does that one not count? Oh yeah, like what? The Hebrews didn't have gender language. What? They didn't have word for man, wait, lady. What's going on? What is
Yeah,
what is
that is
going
a
on?
good point. Yeah. Wait, hold on. now.
It's the Kenneth
That's the
Grant
one?
method of numerology, right? It's where it's like
Except for
why,
six.
why,
Throw out the
why-
one you don't
why did I
like.
get why did I get rid of the why are we only using 22 chromosomes? Oh, because it wouldn't work right.
It wouldn't.
That's
Yeah,
a-
yeah.
the
'cause
numbers
then it
wouldn't be
23's
the same.
odd number. I don't like odd numbers.
You couldn't. No, that's the problem because it's like you could have done that with any of them. It's like the one pair that's left standing is the one that means if your earlobes are attached or not.
yeah.
It's like what? It could have been whatever. You could have picked any of them.
Oh. The
And
last pair
I'm
is the
not-
one that chooses whether or not you have like a snow pea like enclosure or if you have like an open pea situation. That's a Pundit Square joke for you folks out there.
Look, all I know is that one the what hold on, can you repeat the part about the source?
yeah.
Because I hear source a lot like with new agey stuff and
Was
like,
it in quotes and then he put something racist
and
after
by
it?
source did you mean
Or
by
by
source you mean the
source?
thing that I needed to cite
Yeah, our source.
so I
by
could finish
the-
this paper.
yeah. So my research, so my thesis
that it
gets
was- yeah.
submitted correctly.
Oh no, I forgot to double space.
Oh.
No doctorate for you.
All that money down the drain. Thanks, America.
Oh boy.
What if it was like that? What if you got one chance to defend your thesis and then they were like, "Sorry, you don't
What
get
if
to
you
be a
had to
doctor."
physically? What if you had to physically defend your
Gladiatorially
thesis with like
defend my
swords?
thesis. Are you not entertained?
I'm
my
defending
white
my
paper
thesis.
proves it all.
I
I'm
might
defending my
have a
thesis
shot
by
at-
combat.
I might have a shot at a doctorate if that's what we got to do.
That'd be sick. That is the first step to idiocracy, though, because the presidency was done by a monster truck.
You're like, oh man,
Terminated-
sorry, Surgeon General
Oh.
Dr. Hulk Hogan just
Well, he's the
been
alpha,
done.
so he obviously knows more than you.
No, okay, what did he say? So the implication is that the source is like what, the DNA, like the chromosomes.
yeah, I guess the pairs of 22 chromosomes, except really 23.
But English has 25 letters, right?
Which is more, which is better.
yeah,
So if we got rid of 2 letters, we would be right on. Or what if we got more chromosomes?
no.
There we go. That's the joke.
That's yep. We
I
get 2
got it.
more in there.
Let's just get 2 more pairs of chromosomes, and it'll be good for us. It'll be evolution. Like we'll like.
Y'all ever seen
we'll
The
get
Fifth
the-
Element? I mean, the Sixth. Hey,
Are
y'all
you
ever
at-
seen The Sixth Element?
wait, no, I think you were right the first time.
Oh,
The sixth. Have you seen The Sixth Sense and The Fifth Element?
hey, have y'all
and
seen The
7?
Fifth Element? Remember how she had like 4 extra sets of chromosomes?
But what I'm saying is that if we get extra chromosomes, it will go with our letters, and that's how you get back to the Tower of Babel.
I think you're right. I think that's how we get off this fucking rock in the middle of nowhere. I think we
Mhm.
evolve ourselves with 2 more sets of chromosomes, and then we start fighting the Mulak people on.
Somebody
moon.
look up what happens if you get extra chromosomes.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me. What happens if you add a few extra chromosomes to your genetic code for fun? Consequences of gaining extra chromosome causes gene mutation, segregation of aneuploidy of primary cause of miscarriages in humans. Turns out real bad shit. It looks really bad,
Damn.
guys. I don't want to.
They must not know the alphabet very well.
All right,
It's
guys.
pretty
Okay,
bad.
guys. So we know. All right. So what that means is that we need to get rid of some letters. I'm voting for K. I'm thinking if we get rid of K and X maybe, because we don't use X for a whole lot.
I think
Nah.
those are both great things to remove because for one, that eliminates an entire racist group 3 times over, and also it gets rid of the KKK as well. So that's pretty cool.
Well, and we're gonna have to come up with something else goofy to differentiate spooky woo woo magic from like stage magic if we get rid of K's though.
We'd have no more X-Men.
Right. And with X, we'd have to go to Threads. I'm already on Threads.
We are too.
Yeah, I'm not a
And
big fan of
5
X
other
anymore.
people. Oh.
No. See, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's 5 because I'm getting off of it.
All right.
So that's the consensus. We need to get rid of letters.
Yeah, listeners, tell us what letters that you think we should get rid of.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? K is already getting out of there. People say X all the time.
But we got rid of X
we
too.
also-
Now
we
they're
also
just
got
saying
rid of
ah.
X.
Shit.
They're saying ah.
Let me out you
Saying,
some.
the language is broken.
Let me
No, they can't say broken. It's just broin.
No, you could
bro.
replace it. You could replace it with other letters. Like you could use because that's the reason you
It's
get rid of
broken.
K because
It's
C
brosen.
already works.
Oh no, it's broken out there.
Yeah, and you know what? People are gonna be like, ah, my head, it's killing me. I think I have a brain tumor. And they're like, you're gonna have to get your head rayed. Look what you've done to our language.
You gotta get your head right, bro.
What have I done?
No, you gotta stop for the. You gotta pause for
Not
it.
only do we have too
The-
many chromosomes, we can't fucking speak English.
All right.
If
I
you
guess
guys
with
want
that-
the real solution to our world's problems, head over to Patreon for $5 a month. We will tell you all the world's secrets,
and we'll give you your letters back.
We'll give you. If you go to
guys don't
Patreon,
have the-
we'll give you your
you don't
consonants
have-
back.
If you don't have the proper empowerments, you're no longer able to use the letter K.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, and with that, I think it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show.
Is it the part where we ask
Names. No.
Name your child.
callbacks?
Callbacks.
That's the third one. I don't think we can do that one again.
Well, yeah. Well, it was name your child. Then we actually did a round of name your child.
I forgot.
And now we finally got where we're referencing it and then drawing attention to the fact that we have made this joke before. So instead,
Listeners, if you write which episodes we used this joke in before and send it in, you'll
we'll give you a
get
chromosome.
We'll
give you a
chromosome.
chromosome
And some cool magic.
you can have
points.
some extras.
We got a few here
I
to
just-
spare that we can
Look,
just give
I just want a couple extra chromosomes in case I lose one.
I just want them. Yeah, you know when you like open up a panel in a car and it's got like a few extra like fuses like clipped in it.
Exactly.
I want that, but for my chromosomes.
Just like a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know how when you open up your car and it's got like a couple like extra screws just sitting there in case you lose a couple.
Yeah.
It's like when you're changing your tire and they have all those extra lug nuts on, like you don't need all of those.
You just need to
You
connect
need, like,
it and go,
one,
you
maybe.
know?
You
You're a
want-
busy
yeah.
person.
You just you got places to be. Put that one on and go.
The rest of those are just utility.
extra-
Those are just
yeah,
to get
those-
more in case the first one falls off. Then you
Falls
have
off,
extra.
exactly.
Safety,
Exactly.
you know, you don't really need them.
Like, oh,
All
that's
I'm
big,
saying is
that's,
I came here today on
that's
one
big
nut.
government. Okay? It's big government trying to tell you how many lug nuts you got to have, and just go, man.
It's
Just
big
fucking
lug nut
go.
coming for your fucking kids.
This is Big Lug Nut trying to sell more nut.
It's big, lug nut.
Big lug nut is the guy that I met down at the bar. And he says, I don't know about chromosomes, but I'll give you some DNA.
Oh, I'm Dice.
I don't know anything about chromosomes,
God
but
damn
I'll
it.
sell you my piss if you got to take a test or something.
No, everybody shut up because we are trying. This is getting
All
cut.
right, you
Like,
gotta
this
do
is
it.
not
Andrew
normal.
Dice DNA.
Oh my god! You can't cut it now.
All right. Well, Mr. Dice Clay, it's time for us to ask.
What's in the
That needs to be slowed down as well.
Oh my god.
What have we got? What have we got?
What is in the news
we've-
indeed? Okay, all right, real quick.
Okay, highlights, right?
Yep.
Okay, genocide still going on.
Yep.
The Democratic Party have basically said, "Yep, we're good.
Yeah, they're doing the genocide.
So like, so Kamala Harris has basically said like, nah, we ain't. If I get elected, it's gonna be new paint, same building.
Which is like what's the surprise there, right?
It's not surprising, but it is one of those things of when it always turns into that thing of oh, you didn't vote for the Democrats, so it's your fault that Trump got elected. And it's like, well, if somebody looked me in the face and said, I'm not going to vote for somebody who's openly like, yeah, we're going to let horrible monstrosity keep going, I'm not going to look at them like they're the bad guy. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
I tried to play I won't say we fence sit, but like, or anything like that. I don't
fence
feel
it
like
because
that.
we have the largest militia in the entire globe.
No. I
No,
meant
us
as a show.
personally.
Oh, I see.
It's like, I don't want to, I don't, when
I thought we were getting like very
really
national about it.
When it started up again, we were trying to be very chill and not be too inflammatory to either end, right? It was a bad situation.
We never want to.
There wasn't a lot of good answers, but it's very clear. Well, this is a show about politics, but it became very clear, very fucking fast how bad this situation was on the Palestinian end.
Right, that's a good point.
And I'm not saying that Israel isn't suffering losses. I'm not saying that the hostages that Hamas has don't mean shit or anything like that. But like, one side is getting obliterated off of the map.
Yeah, literal scorched earth, like nonstop shit.
It's genocide.
And
it's the end of the Palestinian people. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So,
and you can only assume at this point that is the end goal. That is what, I won't say the Israeli people, but that is what Benjamin Netanyahu and his particular administration want. And that's abhorrent.
Absolutely.
But it's also been going on. This has been going on for a while now. It's like there aren't any new updates. It's just the atrocity continues, and it's really awful.
It's just the constant reminder that these people are being just killed constantly.
And also it's also the reminder. It's the Kurt Vonnegut thing of like all of the artists and writers were focused on the war and to a single powerful weapon, and it had about the power of a cream pie dropped off a 5-foot ladder. People can be screaming and angry and upset about it till they're blue in the face, and it's the war machine is marching on. And I don't have a good solution right now. We are simply, as a people, the American populace is too divided, where a big chunk of them are like, yeah, wipe them off the map, and the other half are not organized enough to do anything.
Yeah.
That about sum it up?
Yep. I think that's a pretty poignant
if
way
you're
to say
upset, if what I said upset you on the level of like, man, somebody should do something, balls in your court. What do you want to do? Yeah. What do we do? I'll listen.
Yeah, I'm open
to some extra chromosomes if we need to.
I'm literally if you got ideas, I'd love to hear them.
That's the thing,
because
right?
It's awful.
This entire it's not a matter of. I guess it comes in many forms and flavors and lots of conflict and aggression, regardless of size and scale. But it's like, how do we get to the resolution here? Because one way or the other, something has to break, right? Or something has to resolve.
Right, and right now the most likely outcome is the resolution of this will be the total obliteration of the Palestinian people.
Right. So if that, it's pretty insane.
It'll be something it will be a tragedy discussed in the history books decades later. What else we got? The presidential election. Donald Trump got his sentencing done pushed off till after the election, which I think we all figured was going to happen.
Yeah,
right? But there's also some information coming out from the revised indictment with what's his name, Smith, right? I think it is.
Yeah, Jack. Go on.
Yeah. Plus it was just like he got one thing pushed back, but there's still going to be evidence that gets put into public view, I think, before
the people that are interested in voting for him, they wouldn't care if you had him on tape cutting off somebody's head.
Oh yeah, no. There's literal shirts out there that are like, I love my new fascist dictator boy, Trump. Like there's some wild
that's
shit
not
out there.
sorry. That isn't fair. That isn't fair, because just like there are people that are conflicted over voting for Kamala Harris but might do it anyway, there are probably people, but his hardcore base is gonna like be like, so who cares?
Well, it's the thing of like, yeah, there's not black and white, but there is absolute diehards that aren't for the message, but just pioneering behind the image, and that's all.
Well, I do think my personal perception, I don't have data to back this up, is that it tends to me at least, it tends to be that Republicans win by igniting their base and getting them to get off their butts.
Yeah.
Democrats tend to win when they can get populations in general to want to go out and vote. Republicans win by igniting their base, if that makes sense. Like they get their diehards, and they can get their diehards going. Then all they have to do is hope the Democrats drop the ball, which they tend to do.
They play a game of snowballing emotion and constant like change, I guess is a way to say that.
I almost feel like the Republican platform for the last like 8 years has been the idea of just demoralize people that would vote Democrat. They seem less convinced that they can really drag people over to their side, but they can definitely make people that they can definitely fire up the real crazies and the real true believers on their side. They can fire those people up, and then they can just make people that would normally vote for Democrats feel like it's a complete fucking waste of time. And that's pretty easy because the Democrats are consistently
awful.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Through the magic of editing and time travel, we have come to bring a few addendums to the news.
Well, these ones aren't even really addendums. Addendum is usually like when we add on to a news story or like a related news story.
Oh, yeah.
This one is like, really like just things that we want to talk about because it won't be relevant by the time we, get to do the next episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're always a little behind, but like, that's okay. You don't know the real news until
we tell it to you.
Yeah. And we'll print that on our t-shirts. Anyway, so there's only really two big things. Is one, there was the presidential debate, which I was hesitant was even going to happen. I thought for sure at the last minute, one of them was going to be like, I got to wash my hair that night.
Wait, that was supposed to be tonight, but I crap my pants on Thursdays. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm surprised it was like the exact debate that Democrats wanted last time, maybe. Because Trump did terrible this time.
I don't know. There were definitely some. I only judge debates by how funny they are. Because you're laughing, but seriously, these debates have devolved to the point that they're just who can get either say something funny and then I laugh about it because you're a silly goober, or you catch him with like a zinger and it's like, oh no, he didn't. Snap, like that's all you're expecting. Like I don't know if I mentioned it, but when Joe Biden asked Trump about his tax returns on the first go around, and it was like, when? Inshallah? And then everybody was making jokes of like, he has seen the light of Allah. That
right.
That still tickles me to this day.
We had one moment in the debate that was like memorable and very quotable and funny, but one out of an entire thing is pretty lackluster.
We did actually stream it and watch it with the Discord folks, so that was pretty fun. They made it enjoyable, but I think everybody kind of stopped when the aspiring and former president said, and now she wants to do transgender surgeries on illegal aliens in prison. It felt like it was like a 3-piece combo in a fighting game where it was like, how can you chain that many words together? Your fear meter is at its max.
Bro, that's a 3 conspiracy combo.
Time to unleash your conservative hyper move.
Conservative hyper move is like making a law that only white families can own property.
Damn, I don't even have a follow-up to that. Nah, I can't. I don't think I can top that.
It's a Kamehameha wave or like a giant like Hadouken, but it's just racist.
Stop.
Sorry.
I was trying to. It's just the flat tax. That's the conservative hyper move.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
But no, when he hit her with I'm speaking now, or like whatever, or it's my turn to speak, and he's like, you remember that one? It's like, ooh,
Yeah, that was actually all right.
ooh, that's
And I mean, Kamala, of course, got in like the majority of the heavy hits, and they weren't even like super funny most of the time. But that's kind of what you're working with when you're trying to make fun of Donald anyway. If you're not willing to, say the shit about like, throwing batteries and punching a shark, or, you know what I mean? If you're not willing to just be like, Donald Trump is a crazy person who just says ridiculous things that make no sense most of the time. It's because she calls him a liar and says like, well, that wasn't true and that wasn't true, but it doesn't have the same edge as like Donald Trump is a senile man who goes off on big old tangents that don't go anywhere, like transgender surgeries on illegals in prison.
Well, he also talked about the illegal immigrants are going to eat your pets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's great. I mean, that's like a whole can of worms to crack open. But
maybe for a psychoanalyst, but not me, sir, not me.
He's like, I ain't biting.
Not today.
My issue with debates, as always, is who was convinced to vote for these people,
right?
Or rather, who watched these debates and were like, oh, well, now I know who I'm voting for.
Right.
I don't believe that they do that much.
Right. I feel like they've become this sort of just event. It's just a thing for people to tune into and go like, boy, my candidate's doing good.
Okay. And another thing, I think the presidential candidates should just get like writers, right? Don't you like, you get, get the guys from Yo Mama. Yeah. Anybody remember the show Yo Mama? Where they just they just clowned on each other and roasted each other for money. Like, do that. Or hire the Comedy Central roast people, or just, get on Reddit. Get the people from the Reddit roast me subreddit.
No, you see, this
have
is
them write for you.
This is how that would go. The Democrats would get like the SNL writers to do their material, and then Trump would go on 4chan, or rather Trump's people would just go on 4chan and start like pulling comments going like, oh yeah, people said this one was based. Just say it. And they'll get asked a question like, Trump, what is your stance on higher tariffs for China? And then he'll just say something.
I'm not going to answer that question. In fact, I've got it right here. Look at this. Look at this meme, right? All right, I'm going to pull it up. I'm pulling it up. And he'd pull out like a fucking printed out copy. And you could see where like the printer was running out of ink. So it's all fucked up. He's like, you see this little frog? I don't know this frog, but
I love him. Isn't he great? Yeah.
Isn't he great, folks? Isn't he great?
You see, it says millions must die.
Oh, God. Why does that one tickle me so much? It's like left can't memes. So then Kamala pulls out her memes, and it's it's 5 pages long. And you can't read any of it because there's so much text. So now we've covered debating on the internet as well.
Afterwards, Trump said, I'm not going to debate her again.
I mean, can you blame him? I mean, the last guy had a bad debate and he quit. So.
Speaking of doing things twice and it not being as fun the second time, Trump got a... Okay. The original story was that there was a second assassination attempt on Trump's life and that shots had been fired in his vicinity. The actual gunman never fired, but was shot at, actually.
Which, good on him, because last time they didn't shoot at him till after he had,
he hurt several people.
Good on him. They did better this time. They shot before they saw a guy with a gun and they were like, okay, we cannot look worse, guys, please. So that's something.
I don't know. I think just the fact that 2 of them happened is already making them look worse.
This guy didn't get very far despite camping out at a fence line for half a day or something like that. I think is what I saw. So he had just been chilling there, Now, maybe that's bad because you didn't see him for 12 hours, but he was really just chilling out there like an anti-paparazzo, just hoping that he might catch a glimpse of the guy.
I did hear it said that area was very common for paparazzi to be, trying to get photos of the president or the former president. I don't know. Maybe that helped play into it. Regardless, it's a weird situation.
If it was, how come there weren't other cameramen?
I can't answer that. That's just what I heard someone say.
I'd be snapping photos. I'd be like, click, click. That guy's got a gun. Another thing is he had a GoPro on him, which
what?
That's sorry. You know what? That might not be true. That was something I read right at the start, that apparently he had like a GoPro with him, which tells me that we seem to have an obsession with it's got to be on film, because the last one was during like live broadcasting. And now this one was the guy who's going to get himself getting the fucking shot.
Was the last one being live broadcasted? I thought it was just people filming it. I mean, it's a big ass rally. I'm sure he knew it was going to be on film, but at the same time.
Let me rephrase that. But yeah, it was being filmed.
Do we want to hear about the guy? Because the guy is a interesting choice.
If you look at this man, if you see him with your eyes and you hear some of the things he's done, you might be thinking certain words like fed or spook or op. And I'm not saying any of that, but he definitely got like the look of one.
All right. So the guy's name was, I forgot to look up whether it's Ruth or Routh. It's spelled like South with an R, but Ryan Wesley Routh, 58, was taken into custody after Secret Service agents fired shots at him at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida on the Sunday, 3 senior law enforcement sources said. In 2002, court records show he was convicted of possessing a weapon of mass destruction, a machine gun. Just pause real quick. Like, weapon of mass destruction being a machine gun. That is like 9/11 levels of fucking misuse of that word.
That's kind of bullshitty, right? Like weapon. So if you have a machine gun, that's a weapon of mass destruction. But like other countries, they have to have like nerve gas or like a nuke. I'm just saying.
In that case, a man named Ryan Routh, 36 at the time, allegedly led authorities on a vehicle chase before he holed up at a roofing company in Greensboro, North Carolina. A person named in this whole article, they keep saying a person named this, as opposed to, I guess, because they're just trying to imply like, well, we're not telling a lie. There is a person that does this. I don't know if it's this guy, but he did do this.
Now, I told him that they had the wrong 58-year-old white man with a proclivity for firearms still wearing the same hat, but
Supposedly a business owner. I think that was his roofing company is what they were saying.
Probably didn't go well.
Records show he also had convictions for carrying a concealed weapon, possession of stolen property, and hit and run. Basically nothing happened to him for most of these. More than 100 criminal counts have been filed against Ryan Ruth in North Carolina.
Wow. So this was a man with like a criminal history. And what do we know of his political leanings?
He was really into Ukraine. He really, really wanted Ukraine to win this war.
This is why I talk about like certain things make him sound a little fetty. Like he might just be a nut, but like there's certain things that make you raise an eyebrow going like, because supposedly he was over in Ukraine trying to stir up support for the war effort, right?
Right. Let's see. In an interview with Newsweek in 2022, Ruth said he was 56 at the time and that he was from North Carolina and had flown to Ukraine from Hawaii. He complained about U.S. leadership as it related to Ukraine and urged greater support for the country from the U.S. government. The conflict is definitely black and white, he said. This is about good versus evil. Ruth told the publication Semaphore last year that he was director of a group called International Volunteer Center as part of his attempt to support Ukraine's war effort. Basically, he's drumming up volunteer fighters, trying to get the Ukrainian government to accept them and doing other things. One person claimed that he reached out to Bruno Mars to get them to write a We Are the World-esque ballad to support Ukraine. that sounds like a shit post, but like I'd believe it.
But that just like if any part of that is true, it's like, ah man, we ended up in the wrong timeline again.
Yeah. But oh, you remember the weirdness with the last time where the guy was like, "Oh, he said he was a registered Republican, but he gave money to a Democratic cause," kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it seems like we've almost got the flip of that.
Well,
this time?
kind of, because listen to this. Writing on X, then called Twitter, in 2020, he said, @real Donald Trump, "While you were my choice in 2106," okay, so he misspelled 2016, "I and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we were all greatly disappointment, and it seems you are getting worse and devolving. You are," ooh, that's a bad word I can't say. "I will be glad when you are gone."
Ooh.
Don't use
Wow. Okay.
don't
well,
use that particular slur at the same time as like multiple misspellings in your tweet.
maybe it was just a typo.
You are retreaded is what he meant to say. Got it?
Oh damn. Now it also notes that he seemed to it shows him donating to Democratic fundraising platform Act Blue nearly 20 times, not a whole lot of big money, but just sort of a quick from 2019 to 2020, which is that's probably like, I voted for Trump and then decided he made a mistake. Here's the one thing that did stick out, because you're talking about he was like, he was my choice last time. It said in a 2023 self-published book, Routh referenced his former support for Trump, writing that he must take part of the blame for electing Trump as president. But I am man enough to say that I misjudged and made a terrible mistake. This guy's got a book.
Oh,
What is going on? Who is this man?
yeah, like
Whose man's is this?
this is
He's over in Ukraine. He's writing books. He's talking to Newsweek. He's getting in shootouts.
he's shooting at police with a machine gun.
He's shooting at police and messing up his own roofing company. Who is this guy? There's something. There is something that just doesn't set right here. You know what I mean? My tinfoil hat is on too tight.
There's lots of weird little things too. Like allegedly they got a witness to fly in a fucking helicopter to ID this guy when they did find him, which is like,
because the best way to identify somebody is from helicopter.
is this the guy? We're like 100 feet in the air. I guess if I squint
That
a
makes me
little
think of
bit.
the Emo Phillips joke.
Wait, what?
It makes me think of the Emo Phillips joke where it's like, you had sex with my daughter. I don't know your daughter. Look, this is her. And I go, no, I've never seen her before. I've never seen her. And he gets so upset, his hands start shaking back and forth. And they go, oh, now I recognize her.
I'm not 100% sure how to feel about this. I think we talked about this before about how like the assassination boosted Trump's image like really hardcore, and it was kind of all deflated by, all right, fine, you can vote for President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, it kind of stole the thunder in a way. Or maybe it just has more to do with our poor attention spans.
I mean, very much possible, but I guess if that was the case, there's this weird part of you, right, that goes like, man, did they try to do this shit again?
Like, oh no, for reals this time. But like, the problem with that though is that if you concede the idea that they could stage an assassination where a guy pulls off a miracle shot or whatever, hashtag old man skin for those of you in the Discord. If you'll concede that they'll pull off an they'll stage an assassination attempt where like 8-9 people will get hit. And I'm not saying it was staged. I'm saying if you're going down that road, then why would their next attempt be much, much worse?
No, well, think of it like this.
And much easier
what if the first one was real and then the second one was done in order to like, get Trump that magic back? Like, all right, we're going to.
No, for real, guys. Or, I mean, I think the more reasonable answer is after it happened once, it would embolden the type of people that would do this.
I'm with this though. Like this one, the first one felt so incompetent that you had to like think that maybe there was something going on. This one feels like obviously something is going on and we just need to wait until it eventually, comes out, because eventually it's going to come out.
something weird is going to come out during the trial or whatever.
Yeah, or 30 years later.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now the part of me that I was saying that if this is some kind of op, which again I'm not saying it is, entertain all possibilities, but do not immediately jump to, oh no, obviously this is staged by the person who somebody was trying to shoot, blah blah blah. But I was thinking, if this is an op, we'll figure it out because this guy will die. He will just all of a sudden be Epsteined. So if that happens, maybe we can start being like, what the fuck, my tinfoil hat is on too tight.
And that note, we return to the past. Gotta get back to the past.
CMN Jack.
But okay, nothing big, no real updates. We're just
Doesn't matter.
Do
do we want to drop the RFK update real quick? Because since the last election,
there is important things. Is that he has dropped out?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, his worm has allowed him to, I guess, is the real way to say
his
that.
worm said that it's all right, Robbie. I know you're tired. We're gonna go home.
Don't you want to have biscuits tonight, Robbie?
Yeah, he dropped out. Did he endorse Trump?
Yeah,
right?
he endorsed.
He
Trump.
did, and he got called Robbie by Trump on stage like a little boy who just gave his
He
dad.
pat him on the head.
Yeah, it was really patronizing, man. It was wild.
Well,
it was
that's
a
what
wild.
remember
fucking
how
vibe.
you remember how RFK went at Trump, like how hard he went at that motherfucker. He got the people to bring in the fucking rubber chickens and shit, and then he made that man kowtow to him. He made him give up and endorse him. That you deserve to be talked to like a little boy after that.
You can drop out and then say,
all right,
like,
I'm
no
out.
one's making you endorse anybody.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could have been like, he could have been like, I wouldn't vote for either of them. I'd write in Donald Duck. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what that probably amounts to, though, or what that could be, is not just his cowardice or his inability to, like.
No, he probably gave. He probably said, "I'll give you something."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he probably got conned.
He'll be like, I'll let you run the stink engine.
if you vote for me,
I'll
you'll get control of all the worms in the world.
You'll be the head of a worm security.
his brainworm's like, hear him out. Let him cook. 1 second.
Oh my God. They make him some kind of health czar, and he's just like, brain worms for all. But yeah, that's probably what it is that I do believe that there was, I can't confirm this because I don't have the headline up with me, but I think he was going around like shopping around like, hey, what do you give me if I drop out and endorse you? I think he's doing that with both sides, and like I think some of them told him like, hey, go go like I think
what you can
Dem
get,
said, like,
you can get the
piss
fuck
up a
out of my
robe.
office, stupid.
Yeah, get the
That's what he was
hell
talking
outta
to
here, you
Roseanne
dork.
about when he's told her about the bear thing in New York. He's like right before that, he's like, I've just been looking around, shopping a little bit, seeing what's available. I've got a couple more years in this body before my my worm.
Oh, that kind of shopping. Who will you give me? Bring me Buttigieg.
Bring me. Yes, my not perfect form is almost perfect.
A little more ratty than what I'm used to, but it will hold.
Oh no, a rat boy. Is that what?
No,
RFK turned into rat boy?
Pete Buttigieg is a rat.
Episode stops right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And then another lovely headline about RFK's daughter claims he cut the head off of a whale.
So he fucking killed a baby bear, put it in the park in New York, like a fucking Of Montreal song would write, and then and then he fucking what did he do with a whale? Well, he fucking cut its head off and fucked it
with a chainsaw.
Why did he do that?
How did he jump in the water after it?
There's so much wrong with that. Because for one, why do you have a chainsaw at the ocean? Two,
why did he want the head?
Why do you want the head? It's not like it's got a narwhal tusk in it. Maybe it was a narwhal. Oh my God, that man is something else. We should get him on the pod.
Yeah, he's not busy now. He's not campaigning anymore.
He's gonna be running the. The
Department of Brainland Worm Security. Got it.
Yeah. Here it is. RFK Jr.'s daughter said he once beheaded a whale with a chainsaw.
I was 8 years old, and
this is very celebrity gossipy sort of thing, but like, goddamn, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Apparently, when Ben Affleck and J-Lo broke up, Affleck dated the 36-year-old Kick Kennedy. Her name is Kick. Wow.
That sounds very RFK.
Whatever. Her middle name is Starter.
No. Kickstarter. I'm going home, guys.
It's like a 1930s wrestler.
That's Kickstarter Kennedy in the corner.
Weighing in at 400 pounds from Fatland,
So
Ohio.
Fatland.
So this was actually old news. It resurfaced because RFK Jr. is running for president. But discussed her memory from her time as a child and said that there was a time that a whale had washed up on the beach in Massachusetts, and he really wanted to study the skull and bones of it. So he ran over to the beach with a chainsaw.
This man's a fucking magic. He
wanted to
this
study
man
the
is magic as
bones.
fuck.
And then mounted the head to the roof of his car and drove for 5 hours.
5 hours.
He didn't even he wasn't going anywhere. He just drove for 5 hours with it on the hood.
He was on the highway with a whale
Every
head.
time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car.
That's not
What
no
the
for
It was
real.
the rankest thing on the planet. We had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and the people on the highway were giving us the finger. But that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us.
That's not real. Oh
This has
my
gotta be-
god.
Oh boy,
That's not like a fucking
Okay.
onion. That's a clickhole article. That's what
Okay,
you're reading.
So here's the problem, right? That's super illegal, right?
That's hella illegal. Not just
You
in a
can't just
poaching
cut that
aspect,
I don't
head
think
but
off.
also
legal is a thing that occurs to Kennedys, fellas.
Well, but you'll notice
Fair.
this is also 2 for 2 because the first time it's like, oh, well, this little baby bear was roadkill and I was going to dress him, but then I didn't have time, so I just threw him away.
And
this
by
is
the
like-
way,
so
that
he
quote is
doesn't
also
kill-
as a joke. You're missing the part where he says, "I threw him in the park in New York," as a little joke. That's a real
It was
quote.
I missed that part where he said it was for comedic purposes.
I swear to God, that's a
he
real
said-
fucking part of that.
That man said, "Stand back. I'm about to go into the bit."
Yeah, exactly.
Then chucked a bear.
Chucked a baby
He
bear
throws a fucking
in Central
bear
Park.
Oh man.
God, we got to get him on the pod. All these acts are starting to turn very magic forward. Like,
Well, he's a fan of spooky stuff. You guys know that, right?
Is he?
He had this experience that he describes in this book where he's sitting up on the third, he ran one of the biggest sanitariums in Europe in Zurich. And he was sitting up on the third floor of this building. And he's talking to a patient who was describing her dream to him. And the fulcrum of that dream was a scarab beetle, which was an insect that is very, very uncommon, if at all, in Northern Europe, but it's a common figure in the iconography of Egypt and the hieroglyphics on the walls of the pyramids, etc. And he while he was talking to her, he heard this bing, bing, bing on the window behind him, and he didn't want to turn around to take his attention off
This
her. But
is
finally, he
Jung.
does it. He's
talking
in
about Carl
exasperation. He
Jung.
turns around, he throws up the window, and a scarab beetle flies in and lands in his hand. And he shows it to the woman, and he says, "Is this what you were thinking of? Is this what you were dreaming about?" And he was struck by that experience, which was similar to other experiences he's had like that. And that's what synchronicity means. It's an instant, a coincidence, And like if you're talking with somebody about somebody that you haven't thought about in 20 years, and that person calls on the phone, that's synchronicity. Oh, and he believed
talking about
it was a
synchronicity
way
was
that
not on my
God
bingo card.
intervened in our lives that broke
No,
all
it wasn't.
the rules of nature that he had set up, the rules of physics, the rules of mathematics, to reach in and sort of tap us on the shoulder and say, "I'm here."
Holy shit. So legit, the joke is no longer a joke. We should actually get RFK.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he can't. He's
Yeah.
not
to show
doing
up.
anything.
He's not anymore. other than like killing animals that are endangered and or dangerous.
We'll tell him that we saw a really big elk on the
I'll
by the
dress
show,
up as a big elk.
by the
yeah.
podcast.
It's on the. You have to be on the podcast to catch him.
You have to you have to click on this link and talk to us for a couple hours.
And then it will appear.
And then the elk will show up in your house already cleaned, so you could throw it out. I don't know, like wherever the fuck where do you live in Burbank or
All right, what else we got?
I got a quick one just in regards to politics, I guess, before we move forward. Kamala Harris got was it 3.4 million? No, it wasn't even that. I'm gonna get the actual amount, but it was like 3 times as much than any other politician at any time in August.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it was an exorbitant amount of donations for her campaign.
Isn't that because she wasn't really running until?
Yeah, it was like a catch-up game, but it was over. Yep. Here we go. She raised over. So Kamala Harris raised over $300 million in August, extending cash windfall. That's what this little article is saying. But effectively, yeah, it was more than twice as much as former President Donald, and he gathered in the same period. So,
Oh, nice.
that's a lot of cash.
Yeah, but hold on, but the key word here, that's the subtle manipulation going on. It's like August. It's like a lot of your fundraising by the time it's August is already done.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the
I don't know how
manipulation. It's they're making it look like, oh, she raised all this money in this period, and Mr. Dandel Trump, he didn't get nearly as much in August. And it's like, well, he's been doing it since really 4 years ago. But
right, he's had debates. He's had a lot of. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really good point. I guess
That's
I saw
the
a big number
manipulation.
and was like, "That's big number." You know what I mean?
oh my god, big numbers, big bro,
big
Holy
number
shit.
go up, scary, big wow.
Big wow is like huge if true, you know.
Oh my god! I'm looking up now that Democratic Party committees started the year with more money than Republican counterparts, but the amount of money we're talking about is like insane. Why?
Welcome to politics.
I don't see any of these commercials. What are they spending this money on?
Fox News ads.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Trapezoids.
I don't see any of that.
Trapezoids.
so
Yeah, trapezoids too.
Yep, trapezoids. Trapezoids are huge in politics, man.
You got to get oblong shapes in the fucking hemisphere, or you're gonna die.
Okay. Really, what it is that they're spending them to get empowerments
Oh yeah.
from llamas, and then they have to hide their political ads
Through the vestige of magic.
in the thonkas.
I think we solved it, boys.
Bro, if
And
you,
that's all in the blockchain.
That's
That's-
all
yeah.
in the vlog.
there's part of me I'm really glad that NFTs got clowned into the abyss, basically. Like, I understand they're still around. I know it's not, it's like, but I'm glad they got clowned, and a lot of them just immediately fell apart and like, yeah, this shit is worthless.
Yeah, I am.
But there's
too.
part of me that's like, man, you should have gotten like, the political campaign NFT sales.
I mean, Trump is selling NFTs right now, right this second.
Oh, is
so,
he?
Yeah.
Actually, that shouldn't fucking surprise me.
And they're also AI image generated like pictures. Like they're like
so
him.
like trash.
They're like him in an Iron Man suit. There's like one where he's like doing a flip.
They did
I
one
think.
where it's like him getting shot, but it's like they fucked up the AI thing, so it's like him getting his whole ear blown the fuck off.
Yeah. There was one
There's
where
one where he manages to get to the bathroom all by himself.
there's one where he's like not orange, he's actually purple. It's really weird. They call him the
It's like Grimace.
the incredible. They call him the.
He's the infraggable crunk. Is that what you're getting
Yes, you
Oh,
beat me
boy.
to it. I couldn't get it out fast enough.
Oh boy. A woman working for Wells Fargo in Arizona died at work and was found 4 days later.
Here's the real
Damn.
question. Do you think that everyone was just out of the office for 4 days? Or
It was-
did
it
everyone
was
just
Labor Day
ignore
weekend.
Wendy?
It was Labor Day weekend, and everyone had Tuesday off as well.
So like, man, of course it's Wells Fargo that happened at. You really don't have a hard time imagining them as like this evil, soulless, who gives a shit corporation.
Yeah, if you replaced Wells Fargo with mom and pop restaurant, finds employee dead after 4 days. That just sounds like they did something to her.
Yeah.
But this is
Okay.
corporate and evil
Now
and bad.
it is worth. Now here's the other thing too. Is like I don't know. I don't understand the corporate culture of Wells Fargo. So like, do people go over the weekends? Because like August 16th is when you clocked in, right?
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Let's do that.
That's a Friday. It could have been like, man, nobody saw her, and they're like, oh, maybe Denise just took off early Friday, and then it's like, Saturday, Sunday, nobody was there. Monday, it's like, hey, I ain't seen her, huh? And then Tuesday, it's like, oh shit, maybe that's what happened. But like,
It's possible.
It's still,
Here's the real
big
question.
locations, like, yeah.
Do you think that she like died and like fell under her desk or something like that so they didn't notice? Or do you think it was just no one looked in that general direction? Like, could you imagine how bad are you going to feel if it was like she was in a cubicle or something like that and she's literally just propped up like that? And everyone
she
just
looks like she's hunched over doing work and shit.
Right.
Oh my God.
And everyone just walked by for like 2 days.
Well, it would paint a very interesting picture that that her job was so unimportant that no one checked on her.
You know what I bet? Someone got fired for this. You know who it was?
Who?
The custodian. Because they're like, I know you didn't fucking clean this goddamn office.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right. Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah, you're super fired.
That's the
bro.
worst luck in the world, man. If you're just trying to like limp by as a custodian and not fucking give a shit about like the thousands of cubicles in this
You stuck your
conglomerate.
head in
She died at her desk, and it was a smell that alerted people.
Whoa. Yep.
Oh, that's
Janitorial got
the
fucked.
janitor really got fucked.
Well,
Janitorial might go to prison, actually.
It also means that it is just as horrific as you're imagining it. This woman died in her cubicle at her desk.
Yep. No one even
and just
looked at her.
nobody fucking looked.
Damn.
And I could really get on my soapbox and talk about how the world we live in, we are so alienated from everything we do, especially each other, that like stuff like that can genuinely happen.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine nobody gives a shit.
Things have gotten so big and so compartmentalized in how we operate them. The detachment of human interaction to performance has gotten to such an nth degree that I don't understand the argument that people point towards that we can't just like work towards only making robots do things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like, because at this
well, the
point,
answer
you're
is that
already
if
treating 90% of your workforce like robots.
But the problem is that if right now, the way things stand, if you made robots do everything, you just end up with a lot of people that were out of a job and they would starve. And then when they rioted because they had no food, we would shoot them with tanks.
The robots would shoot them.
The minute we have accessibility for all robots, and I mean, like, there's already manufacturing, but like to a standpoint of robotic arms and stuff like that. But the minute we have that is the minute that we are at a center point of, do we fall or do we thrive? And that is, do we have limitations in how like big money decides to
once the exploitation of human labor is no longer
Yeah.
necessary, are they going to put us out to pasture? That is
are
really
we
the
going to go to
question
pasture
here.
and it's just the elites that exist, or is it going to be a
it'll-
moment of philanthropy
that will
that actually makes us advance? Like,
It will be a flashpoint of history. Like this
Yeah.
will be the
If we get there,
That'll-
of course. I have plenty of reasons
Yeah,
as
if we
to
get
why
there.
we won't get there, but
them bitches can't even walk upstairs right now.
yep.
oh yeah, no, we're infantile, if you want to even call it. We're protozoan right now. But
AI.
It is
More like gay eye. Ha!
more like hey, goosh.
I'm Dice.
I'm Dice
Andrew,
AI.
I'm Dice Bot.
I'm dicey.
I'm AI Dice. I don't forget this. Just we're done.
Yeah,
I think we've
AI
killed Dice
Dice
now
gaze.
too.
he'll live forever in the AI.
What else we got?
What if I told you guys that there was a glitch in the Matrix that you could exploit?
I was like, you gotta remember that the you don't try to bend the spoon. You just try to realize that the spoon, that ultimately there is no spoon. So you got to use.
Who's the
fork.
guy from The Fly and fucking
Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, so was that Jeff Goldblum doing
Dude, that was
Morpheus?
I think I think I thought you were just doing butthead.
It's like, there's no spoon. Whoa.
No, guys, but there is a glitch in the Matrix.
What's
There-
the sorry? What's the glitch?
Did you know that if you guys go to an ATM and you just write out a check to yourself, the ATM doesn't realize that you don't have that money. So if you write $10,000 and then cash a check from yourself to yourself, all of a sudden you will have $10,000. It's called the infinite money glitch, and it is taking TikTok by storm.
I got so many questions, man. But you got. You can write checks at an ATM. What?
Yeah. You can deposit checks at ATMs.
I've never done that in my entire life.
And there's no like wait time.
Yeah, I
No,
do it
it's
by
just
the
in
phone,
there.
and it's like
It's
3
just
days
in-
later.
If you're at like certain banks, it's not every bank, but like
Okay.
I believe Chase Bank was the one that really started it.
Oh, so this is like an actual global issue. This is a problem that happens at a lot of ATMs.
This is an ATM,
Well,
an
no, it's-
ATM programmer.
No, it's a glitch, guys. It's a glitch in the Matrix that is allowing you to exploit the reality source code for profit, called check fraud.
I think DiCaprio did a movie about this with Tom Hanks. Is this so? Hold on. Let me again. Here's a follow up then. Two
People
things
going to
will
jail
happen.
over this.
Yeah,
Not only
obviously.
will but like
It's a dumb crime. It's like getting to rob a bank very easily, but making sure you leave your ID and a list of your
Yeah.
daily schedule with it.
Well, a lot of like these ATMs have like cameras on them, so like it's showing you're caught on camera.
I'm just
writing
imagining-
your name on a check.
I
and
mean, no,
depositing it
second
into
off,
your account.
The check is still there. It's right there. You put it in the machine. You can't even be like, I didn't write that.
$1 million
That's the-
for me.
That's the whole point of old school check fraud is you could just write a check and then it's gonna bounce, but you're already gone with the groceries.
Okay. So, but that's my point here. That's my second question here is why would you ever put your own name? Like, is it because it's a glitch that you can only do your name? Because why wouldn't you put like anybody else's name?
because you have to have one of their checks. You'd have to steal somebody else.
Okay.
You'd have to steal somebody else's checkbook and
I
then write
see.
a check.
And at that point, you're just stealing money.
Now you're just stealing. You're just stealing.
That's their money that's about to
It's
go
still
on.
check. It's still check fraud. It's just a different kind.
Now you're just being a thief in like a more petty way.
I'm just wondering, like, okay, this is my dumb brain where it's like, okay, how long would you wait before it went full circle where it's like, all right, hey, you just got $10,000. Oh, but this check cleared. I got to take this $10,000. It's like, shit, I'm broke again.
Okay, yeah, that's my third one. If
Instead,
you're
it's just
taking
like, I
money
have
from
to
yourself
spend-
and you're overdrafting on that,
we have to spend all of this money before I have time to take it back.
how about this is just a loan with less steps? Is what this is. Like, instead of it being like about credit score, this is like ultimatum loaning. They give you whatever amount that you want, but now not do you have to pay that back. You're getting accrued overdraft fees daily.
You're getting
for the next-
you're getting a criminal
for-
charge is what you're getting. It's still this
No,
is actually
I,
is
I
the same
prefer the
thing.
Hunger Games thing.
It's funny. I do think it's really cute that they're framing it as like it was the infinite money glitch.
See, that's how we. This is what I'm talking about when I
video game brain
Right.
rot.
That's my favorite lane of TikTok is showing you how to do shit you should never try. It's like, hey, do you want to steal credit cards? Here's how you do it. Get on that white blank. You know what I mean? That white card.
What happens when you have two male ends on an electrical cord?
it sets out a special signal that alerts the fire department.
It puts out a. it's called a breaker killer. It shows you where in your line is the most faultiest by producing a fire.
Okay, I've tried in the attempt of like relating it to magic, right? I'm not going to do very well, but there is this notion of like somebody really thought they like saw through. That's like, oh man, here's a huge loophole. They didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
realize.
Oh, stupid idiot financial services
boy.
never thought about this one.
Never thought that somebody could just commit a crime.
Idiots. This is why checks should be outlawed, but I'm going to reap the benefits for a while.
You stupid idiots. You couldn't expect that I would tell you that I had money when I didn't have money. You absolute fools.
You fools. I said I had $1 million, but I didn't.
What was the max you
you-
could what was the max you could take
Yeah.
out? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
'Cause I want to know I want to
Additionally-
know how much these people went to jail for.
Well, here's
also
a thought,
like the
right?
higher the amount too, it's the bigger. Like if somebody had done that for like $100 or something, it probably wouldn't have slipped under the radar completely, but it wouldn't have been that big a thing.
You probably wouldn't have gotten a criminal charge for it. You probably would have gotten like a regular overdraft charge.
It might have at least been like a misdemeanor, you know?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like,
They might
when
call the
you-
authorities after attempts.
When you use big boy magic to conjure up a $10,000 glitch. Money, a $10,000 money glitch. When you call upon the Goetia on the back of your checkbook,
You got the right attunements for it, right?
Marbus. when you say Marbus, bring me 10K. Now, on one hand, it does remind me of the wise words of Mr. Hannibal Buress of like, man, you know what we could do with counterfeit money? Just everybody act like it's real money.
Oh,
Get
wait.
that fake.
I just realized something here. This doesn't. Okay. Is this a hack in the sense that it's adding it to their bank account, or are they withdrawing the money from a check? Are they cashing a check?
It's depositing it into their account, but it's like it's more or less like it hits the account before
It hits your account with the money
It hit-
added before it
the
checks
money
where
adds
it
in
came from.
before it go. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
like you do say you hypothetically you put in 10K. I don't know why I keep holding on 10K, but you throw in 10K. And then like an hour later, it's like, all right, yeah, now you can do this. And then like I bust out my debit card and I go buy 2 McDonald's hamburgers.
Yeah, that's about 10K.
Mm.
Yeah, 10K I cover that. So I've spent that money, but now when they go to take away the money, it's not there because I have already bought 2 McDonald's hamburgers and what the heck, a small fry. I'll take out another loan.
Wow, you fucking someone's living big.
Yeah.
So okay, this is dumb on a lot of accounts. Then
Yeah, a lot of people's accounts were very dumb for this.
Yeah.
yeah,
This is really stupid.
because you can't. It's just like you can't
Now,
pull off. It's
my
not worth it
problem
at
is,
any
right,
level.
Now
You can't-
here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
My only question is, did the person who started this know what they were doing? And they were like, let's see
just
if
like
these idiots go for it.
Yeah, like a sting, like a experiment.
The check
he did
fraud
that shit
department
and
at the
then
police department was like, you know what? We need to get these numbers
had
up,
a
otherwise
slow
they're going to
week.
shut us down.
We need
Yeah.
a quota to fill. We got to get a new bathroom in this bitch. The toilet's been off the rocker for 6 months, and we don't have a single case outside of Colombia. And like,
Oh wait,
The
I
check fraud
have it.
department is non-functional because no one writes checks anymore.
because check isn't
This
a real
was
place
actually
anymore.
No, this was actually a secret ploy to get millennials and Gen Z to figure out how to write a check.
Oh my god, it's a social dare experiment. It's made by the Dare program or like what's the one that does the anti-vaping? The one
How is that related?
It's the Pope.
they're the ones that are funding this marketing guerrilla warfare tactics.
The Pope?
No, the Dare program.
Run by
I
the
don't know
Pope. Yeah.
Is it run by the Pope?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's lying to me, but
I'm pretty sure he is too, but
I mean, a lie would
that's a
imply
lie.
that I think I'm lying, and I don't think I'm lying. I might be.
that's also a lie. That's not how lies work.
bro, it's only a
You don't
lie
get to
if I
think
meant to
that.
lie.
Yeah, exactly. That's not. That's actually
Baby,
gaslighting what you just did.
Officer, I thought I had that money.
Officer, you see, when
It
I put
wasn't a
that
lie.
check with my
It's
name
not
on it
check-
for $10,000.
It's not check fraud because I really thought I was gonna get that $10,000.
I really-
I thought I found the infinite money glitch. Officer, if you let me go, I promise I'll go back to just doing sigil magic.
Officer, I don't believe in time, so therefore this money has always been mine. And it would be really cool if
You know what? Also, I don't believe in
you understood
handcuffs
that.
either, so you better get these off. Oh gosh.
How much money do you want?
No, officer, fine. Officer, I know how to make this go away. Pulls out my checkbook.
Well, I'm just gonna put what was your badge number again? 5483. I'm just gonna leave this blank. You decide what to do.
I like that you wrote the badge number on there, like he's gonna be able to cash that shit.
At this point, you're probably getting your ass beat. Like you're already on the ground. Like,
okay. Do we want to wrap up by the exciting conclusion of the Starliner probe, or not probe, the Starliner pod, whatever capsule?
oh yeah, I'm down
Yeah,
for that.
let's finish up. Well, it's not quite the end. It's the end of this one, at least.
This is probably the longest running story that we followed between episode and episode, because this is 3 episodes in. And okay, first off, there was a mysterious throbbing or pulsing sound coming from the Starliner. I know stupid science gave us a reason for why, but like I want to know the truth. It was tentacles, right?
It was the sound.
Space monsters.
I hope it was. I really wish it was. And it sounds like their answers. Okay, I'll say it like this, really. Anything space, like project wise, like from NASA or from like any of SpaceX, everything they have to post like in any deliberation or explanation of something is always ominous. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Their response to this was still just like it was like, yeah, it's feedback from the speakers. It's not what you think it is.
Oh, it's definitely not a fractal remnant of an elder god that we shot up there to get it off of Earth, where it can do the least amount of harm by hopelessly floating in low orbit.
This is not summoning.
That's why. That's why the probe. That's why they didn't want to send the probe back, because it's like whatever's on there needs to stay up in space. God damn it!
Absolutely.
If a couple people die, a couple people die.
This is advancement,
the human race
boys.
is on the race. The human race is on the line.
We sent 5 monkeys, 5 women, and 7 dudes. We gotta figure this out.
No, I'm just imagining like a clandestine war between
the moon people,
the power. No, of like powers that be battling with Lovecraftian cultists, and they finally get like, all right, look, we're gonna get like this piece of whatever off of the Earth. That way, the cultists can't summon their Eldritchian lords.
Oh, you're talking about Hellboy.
It does probably sound a little bit like Hellboy.
That's Hellboy's whole thing.
And they just like whatever side infiltrated the guys at Boeing, and they're like, look, I know they're gonna die up there, but this thing cannot stay on Earth. All right,
we got to get it off, and we got to come back, and we'll regroup.
Yeah.
We'll get them probably. Just we got to do something.
Well, they'll probably be fine, but like that thing got to stay that's got to be space debris. Okay.
Elon's satellite lasers will shoot it down for us.
Why does it keep pulsing? It's better if you don't ask.
Why are you still pulsing? What?
I said.
Why are you still pulsing?
But okay, so it has been confirmed that the 2 astronauts that were supposed to go back down with it are not going to go back down. It's going to be February of next year.
Right.
Yeah, hitching a ride with Elon.
So these guys are. Yeah, so yeah, if it's Elon gonna do it, so they're staying up there forever.
Well, they're gonna get a subscription first, and then he'll go help them.
God,
well, they need to start sending him messages via Grok, and that way Elon will speed up.
If you have a blue check, you can get on the.
Yeah, they're all
the
verified,
SpaceX.
so luckily they'll be home pretty soon, I think.
So they're gonna go down there. The Starliner capsule actually just returned to Earth yesterday.
Wow.
Late last night, something
that was
like that.
so fast and easy. It's crazy that they didn't they didn't come along. Huh. Oh well.
Yeah. I don't know if it's probably been reclaimed already, but it did survive. It didn't burn up or explode or
good.
Which probably doesn't bode well for whatever was on it. There's probably something weird is probably going to grow out of the hole that it's smashed into. Something
yeah.
that you think it's a tree, but it's not actually a tree because trees don't bend that way, you know. But we'll worry about that later.
We will.
We will all worry about it later.
Jeez.
Collectively. But yeah, that's the wrap up as far as the Starliner probe. And barring anybody got any other exciting headlines, I think that's about all I've got.
Yeah.
My outside cat is getting really pregnant, and her name's Smoke, and she looks like a balloon.
Aww. Smoke.
Yeah, she's a cute cat.
We actually do
The
have
Patreon members will see what she looks like with her babies.
If you join the Patreon, we will send you a baby.
Because I can't afford them, so.
Okay. There is one genuine piece of occult news we have to touch on briefly. I don't want to go into a big thing.
Yes, actual occult news. That's a
At the
rarity
time of
down
this
here.
recording,
There
it's
ain't
been
a lot of it to go around.
Yeah, so enjoy it while you get it. J. Daniel Gunther, controversial thelemic figure, has passed.
Damn.
Anyone that doesn't know J. Daniel Gunther, we've talked about him various times on this podcast already. We did so in our Crybaby Thelema hour. We did so in other episodes where we talked about the Boleskine Foundation and various other things. I've written an article about some unearthed documents of his particular AA lineage. Our feelings on the man are pretty well known from those episodes. But at the same time, he's also dead. You know, I'm not going to sit here and dance around on it and be happy that a guy is dead. He's not, he's not like Henry Kissinger. And we didn't celebrate Henry Kissinger dying either because he won. And, in a way, J. Daniel Gunther, even if you dislike him, he won in this instance. He is undeniably the most influential Thelemite of the 21st century. The things that he was teaching and the people that he was connected to and working with have left a distinct mark on Thelema, the works of Crowley, and I'm not going to sit here and shit on the man. I don't think it was the most positive thing in the world, but at the same time,
it is undeniable.
It is undeniable
his influence.
Yeah.
So it is worth noting. I'm sure that in the coming weeks and months, there will be more people coming out, possibly sharing their experiences. Maybe any works that he hasn't finished will probably be finished by other people, but our opinions were known. But again, this was somebody that had a profound influence on where Thelema is currently and where it's going to go. So it's worth being aware of and worth noting his passing.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I guess that wraps up the news then. Great.
You don't sound so fucking happy about it.
One more. Wait. What? Loch Ness Monster returns.
Oh shit!
Give me back my house. Give me back my house. Okay, that's well. We'll keep you posted on that.
As the story develops, we'll be on all the socials.
All right, right. That's the news.
All right, so up next, we're going to have former presidential candidate RFK on the pod
to talk to us about
Carl Jung and dreams.
Ooh, I like dreams.
Do you?
Oh, I like dream. Yeah.
No. Don't put those words into my mouth the way you said that, the way he puts things into other people's mouths. Don't do that.
No.
I don't know about that cheating scandal, though. That was pretty wild.
I was talking about the child thing.
You're like a grown-ass man. What are you talking about?
You want to go? What?
Guys, please stop. We're going to talk about dreams, okay?
Okay. Oh, I love dream.
Okay. Stevie Nicks wrote the song at Record Plant Studio in Sausalito, California. One day, when I wasn't required in the main studio, remembers Nicks to Blender magazine, I took a Fender Rhodes piano and went to the other studio. It was a black and red room with a sunken-in pit in the middle where there was a piano and a big black velvet bed.
There's so much cum in that room.
I sat down on the bed with my keyboard in front of me, continues Nicks. I found a drum pattern, switched my little cassette player on, and wrote dreams in about 10 minutes. Right away, I liked the fact that I was doing something with a dance beat because that made it feel a little unusual for me. Is this dreams bit doing it for anybody?
No.
I mean, I was
You're
really
gonna have to cut
enthralled
it.
in how horny it was. That's a studio. Was a red and black room with velvet. That sounds like the studio B was like
there's a pit in the middle for the piano.
It's
Wink.
fucking you're in the Black Lodge.
There's a pit in the middle with all these leather things holding up the piano. What is all this stuff?
And there's a stain at the bottom. What it looks like.
All this cum is in this building. There's not even any microphones in here. What do we do?
Why is the door locked?
There's 2 outlets. Also, it's really hot.
Hold on, relax. We're gonna get you an empowerment.
Okay, all right. Let's try to do a real segue into
All right.
this.
Okay. So I got a lot of hot dogs, right? And I was telling myself that if I get enough hot dogs, I can put them on the grill and I have people over for a hot dog grill, and I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That does sound really fun.
You know,
Co-host.
like
I'm sorry, time
it's
out.
like a dream of mine.
Oh Lord, I was like, where are we going?
Dreams, you say?
I love the idea that you said, all right, let's do a serious one. I'm so sorry. Did I die? I died. I felt like I was in a dream state just now.
Just don't even try it, bro.
Damn.
I thought it was gonna work. I was gonna go with it.
No.
he just put the kibosh on.
Okay. Gary, have you ever had a dream?
I have. How did you know?
We are like the dreamer who dreams and then lives inside the dream. But who is the dreamer? How's that? Is that a segue? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean
that
you were
is-
doing good. You were doing good until you caught attention to it.
Oh.
Well, to round out this episode, sorry. Well, to round out this episode, we wanted to do a little look at the concept of dreams as far as their application, the way that they've been interpreted through the years, and how they can serve you in your magical practice. I think Kennedy is going to start us off talking about dreams in antiquity and then into what, Freud?
Yeah, into Freud, maybe a little Lacan, maybe. But you're also going to talk Jung and Robert Johnson, and then something completely different with Carlos Castaneda. So I think I'll try to trail off at Freud. That work for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
All
Sounds like a plan.
So, all right, Dream. Dreams is a song by the British American rock band Fleetwood Mac, written and sung by Stevie Nicks for the band's 11th
Holy shit.
studio album. This is the second time I've done this joke, listeners.
That's awesome.
God,
God, you're
anyway,
a fucking magic man.
Okay. So from time immemorial, we've seen people discussing, oh my God, fuck me.
When I was a little bitty boy, I wanted to get a whole bunch of hot dogs and put them on a grill, and then I was going to invite people over and have a hot dog grilling time with folks. I thought it'd be really good. It was a dream of mine.
Dream that you had.
A dream of mine. Oh boy, we had snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We were so close.
All right, let's try this again one more time. You guys know Martin Luther King?
Yeah.
He had a dream once.
No, stop.
So rounding out this episode, co-host and I had this amazing idea. You know, we've wanted to do it for a long time. You could say it was a dream of ours.
No.
Not that one either.
We had an intro and then you were starting to talk and then
Okay, all right. Obviously, everyone here has had a dream before. I assume everyone listening has had a dream before, unless you have some sort of odd psychological or neurological condition, which maybe, I don't know. I don't know your life. But dreams from as far back in recorded history as we can find have always held a kind of special and interesting place. I think it's universally like the closest we get to, I don't know, I guess what we could consider the occult experience for normal people. It's the closest you can get to like having those experiences of like being out of your body or having some sort of non-local experience of consciousness.
The super context, I've heard it referred to as.
Ah, yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, I like that.
Dreams as the where everything sort of melds into each other, because you can see the internet, the way one thing can flow into a seemingly unrelated thing, but if you can follow the logic of the dream, you can understand how they're connected.
For the most part, we can see various cultures taking on a sort of prophetic tone with dreams. Judaism in particular has always been about the interpretation of dreams. They're quite often seen as symbolic, and there's, famously accounts of various dreams in the Torah and the other Hebrew and Abrahamic religious writings. Dreams are fairly important, so that's not surprising. Christianity, oddly enough, has had a certain, we'll say, more negative interpretation of dreams. Of course, a lot of Christians think that, God can give you revelations through dreams, but there's also an emphasis on the, what's the word I'm looking for here? The more sensual types of dreams that appear as temptations for us.
Oh, right.
Which is an interesting thing to bring up later in the later developments of where dream analysis would go with Freud, but we haven't gotten there yet. Islam as well, I've been told, has a special significance because dreams are one of the few areas where the revelation of God is still possible after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. That's interesting. Hinduism obviously puts dreams as a privileged third state because, as you know, the three types of states that the human consciousness has are the waking world, the deep sleep, and dreaming. So
Right.
it's given a place beyond that. There's when you're sleeping and nothing's happening, that's a completely different state than dreaming. And
Yeah.
I always found that kind of interesting. Buddhism, again, has sort of interesting bits about the prophetic nature of dreams because supposedly one of the revelations that of the Buddha's or the soon-to-be Buddha's destiny, as it were, come from dreams.
And then there's also the practices of dream yoga,
Right.
where the magic body or the illusory body is able to be formed and used and stuff like that, and you can attain great merit while you're sleeping on your ass.
I like that idea. I like getting a lot of gain for not a lot of.
I don't remember the particular Buddha, but it was there's one where a guy, like, he just can't stop sleeping. Like he's sleeping all day, and it's like, oh, you're supposed to get a job, and he goes to get a job and falls asleep on the job and all this stuff, and it's like, oh man, so his family throws him out, and he's just in the graveyard, and he's like, I got nowhere else to go, nothing to do, but oh man, I really want to sleep. But he comes across another monk, traveling sage type, and he's like, all I do is sleep. And they're like, well, no, you see, if you just learn how to use your sleep as yoga, as meditation, you'd be fine. So then he becomes sort of like the sleeping sage, where he's asleep and he's talking, like he's telling people the Dharma in his sleep.
Oh my God.
Sort of like Edgar Casey, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Just like giving out the good word.
Yeah,
the deep
just
nether zone.
while you're asleep, and then you're giving out secret knowledge.
Let's see. There's always been the idea, especially like, the earlier you go in history, but there's still some of it in later cultures as well, that the good dreams come from the gods, just like sleep comes over you from the gods, and then the bad dreams are, demons and monsters and all that kind of good stuff. Greece, when where the so-called deep thinkers start to come out, they have some pretty interesting ideas. It's very interesting to me that the idea of repressed desires that come out in dreams starts with Plato. I'm sure there's something very profound about that statement, but the essential idea of desire being repressed and being expressed in dreams coming from Plato is something that I feel, shows the deep running of his his thought current in our society and in the world we inhabit today. But other ones, Hippocrates, father of modern medicine, thought that you could find illnesses and predict diseases, that sort of thing.
Like through your sleep?
Yeah, based on dreams. Aristotle thought that dreams were based on the failure of the physical body to perform properly. You running in your dreams and stuff is because your body's trying to run while you're asleep. You're seeing things because your eyes are trying to see, but they're closed in your sleep.
What about
that sort
like
of thing.
hypothetically if it was like, I don't know, like urination or something?
I never had
that's
that
an easy
problem.
one because you're trying to pee. You're trying to pee, but you're asleep. So like you're not supposed to pee,
Yeah,
It's
and I
easy.
don't. But yeah.
But like, how would you stop it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like I guess the thing is like with dream magic, like what do we
Oh, you would like
for our listeners?
yeah. It's really easy. You would just get a catheter, right?
I don't know.
You would
anybody
just
named Catheter, but I'll
well,
see what
you
I can
just
do.
wear a catheter at all times. And then when people say, "What's with that weird bag of piss?" you say, don't worry about it.
I was like, I can't believe you just said that about my bag of piss. Make them feel
It's
uncomfortable.
you say, I am RFK Jr.
So let me tell you, he takes his wife and he says, "Wife, I'm gonna have a second wife."
Wife, I know you don't like this, but
Oh my
I need
God.
another one of you.
That's another
Stop.
RFK Young joke. Dreams remain sort of a fringe idea until the granddaddy of all psychology decides that dreams are super duper important, and no one decides they want to argue with them. Yeah, we're talking about Sigmund Freud here. It is way more complicated than this, obviously, but I'm going to say it in the simplest terms. Freud had the theory that what dreams are expressions of our desires and wish fulfillment. So, in other words, you repress all these things all through your life. They remain repressed into the unconscious, and they find expression in dreams where you get to do the thing you really want to do in a way that doesn't completely mess you up, but in a way that sort of fulfills what you really want. And if you know anything about Freud, what you really want 99.9% of the time is like a really good hard fucking.
Yeah, just a
And
thrashing
most
of the dick.
dreams, and most dreams are expressions of trying to get that sort of thing out in a way that isn't just having sex, which is interesting because then what do the dreams mean when I'm having sex? Huh? What's that mean, Mr. Freud?
Means I need to file my taxes earlier this year.
It means succubus made it into your room. But no, it's called sublimation, right? That's the idea of like trying to fulfill the root desire through through something that is not the actual desire itself.
That's the idea. Yeah, your dream is sublimating what you actually want.
And he's the pioneer of dream analysis, right?
Right. Yeah. Virtually, I of course, there are people doing it beforehand. I mentioned, the Jewish people have been practicing this for a long time, but Freud really is the person that popularizes the analysis of dreams as a window to the individual psyche rather than forces from without, or the more basic idea of dreams being like the processing of data, of experiences, and so on.
To me, I think the one thing that I don't know is I don't know the process by which Freud would actually analyze dreams. But I do understand that a lot of it does rely on the sort of psychological model that he had already been developing and pioneering, right?
Yes.
Dream analysis also goes along with talk therapy, which is another thing that, I think I can't remember if it started with him or not, but more or less he's the pioneer. He's the one that really he's the one that gives us the image of like, okay, sit on the couch and tell me about your problems.
Right. Yeah.
You go, very interesting. That is a very interesting thing you've got over there.
The notable thing that anecdotally I can point to at least is the idea of that when it comes to dream analysis, right? When you start analyzing your dreams from a Freudian approach, you're going to find that everything is your mother. And, it's like So, and then this is a penis, and then this is a vagina, and then this is about
who you want to have sex with. Yeah.
this is about fucking, and it's gonna because that's the model you're going with, and then that takes us to the next thing, which is Jungians.
Right.
Carl Jung believed
Carl Jung
that
has the blasphemous idea that maybe it's not all about
it's
your
not all
penis
pee
and your mommy
and your mother. Yeah.
What?
just maybe it's not about that.
I mean, I could have been thinking that the whole time.
Yeah, you
And a
could've.
lot of it does go with that fancy quote from earlier from
I gotta make a
RFK.
call.
With that quote from earlier about RFK, there was the notable thing of the synchronicity. But what he said was that he was talking to a patient about a dream she was having and acknowledging a cultural symbol that was not common to her culture. But by understanding the symbol, even in a context outside of your own culture, you might be able to find something useful. The scarab beetles are not common in Europe, but in Egypt, they factor in heavily as symbols of resurrection, Kefra that moves the sun across the sky and stuff like that. That's a powerful, powerful symbol. And when you have something popping up like that, it can mean something strong. And Carl Jung starts looking at the notions of archetypes, the idea of these complexes that exist within the structure of the human psyche that are used. Yeah, they're collective, and they're used as the language, the symbol system of the unconscious to communicate with the conscious. And then so dreams go from this is just some shit that your brain is doing because it's got hangups, or this is something that your brain is doing because your body is still trying to go, but your body is asleep. Instead, Jung has the magical notions, the mysticism notions. Jung is a wizard,
In a way, Jung returns to the previous idea that this was revelation from God.
Yeah. But his God is the unconscious mind, the totalized self that is not realized and seeks to be known, or seeks to, you making the unconscious conscious sort of thing.
That's crazy.
So in that idea that your unconscious wants to talk to you, or at the very least, maybe not like as a direct, hey, you need to do this, but it's like, this is what is going on. This is the language, and this is the information that your unconscious is making available to you, but it cannot speak to you the way that I'm talking to you. It talks in the nature of myth. It talks in the nature of symbolic relation. And
Right.
that is the crux. And later, Carl Jung goes into the ideas of active imagination, which is essentially inducing imaginal, visionary, dream-like states while being awake. But at the same time, that is not to discredit the recording, analysis, and interpretation of dreams. And that goes to Robert A. Johnson, who is one of the few Jungians that I really, really like. That's saying something. And his book, Inner Work, is a big one for me because it lays out the 4-step process in the simplest terms possible. You want to know how to do the Jungian branch of analysis as far as your dreams? This is how. And I'm going to share it with you right now. Step 1, identify the relevant dream symbols. All right. Use one I had. I had a dream that I was at work and everybody was about to go to lunch. And I said, hey, I'm going to hold back and I'm going to fix this thing real quick. And then all of a sudden I have worms coming out of my skin. Like they're in my hand and I'm starting pulling them out of my hands. And then I see that they're going all down my arms. They keep peeking out from my skin and they poke their little heads out like to get air or something. I keep pulling at them and pulling at them.
That's fucking
and I have
horrifying.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And then I know I intentionally, like, I say, like, I rebuke you in the name of Christ, which is not something that conscious co-host would ever do. Even if I thought this was like some kind of spiritual boogaboo, that's not how I would do it. So
Right.
that means, but anyway, so I'm pulling these out and it's awful. It's awful. And I remember looking down at my goods and it's like, oh God, they're in there too. And that's when the dream was too much and I woke up.
God damn.
So
Man,
yeah,
that's
it's
brutal.
brutal,
That's a
right?
bad one.
Yeah, it's a bad one. And Freud is like, you want to have sex with your mother.
Yeah, and yeah, Freud's like, so your mother was the worm.
Your mother wanted to know if you would still love her if she was a whore.
Your mother was the worm that's in RFK. I got it.
Yeah.
So you want to have
So,
sex with RFK? I understand.
The
now.
steps, right? The steps, and I'm not going to do a genuine interpretation of this because it takes a while, but here's the process, right? Would be identifying the relevant dream symbols. All right. So the place I'm at is I'm at work. All right. So that's probably important, right?
Okay.
There's nobody in there that really stuck out as like this person was here and it mattered or like it was important. The worms are definitely a big symbol. The placements of like, I would even say that like they start in my hands and then they're all over. Like they go up my arms, they're down my legs. And the last part I notice is they're on my unit.
Oh,
So
no.
I think
Your
even
G
the
unit?
placement, I think even the placement of where these things were showing up are probably relevant, the order and everything else.
Was there like a total of 8 to 9 of them at central points of your body?
I don't get that reference.
Were they like chakra worms?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. I meant Kai worms. Do you like how I offended more people?
Jesus Christ.
We'll go with that. So if, say, for the sake of argument, I'd be like, all right, the fact that I'm at work, the placement along my body, the worms themselves, and the rebuking in the name of Jesus, and then it not working. All right, we'll go with that. So we can identify those as relevant, as those are the pertinent things of the dream that are worth. So then the second step is association, where I would say this is the dream, this is the symbol. What do I'm going to just throw out in sort of a free association what all of these things could mean, right? Like what these, worms can be associated with decay, death, disease, like maggots. So like putrefaction, RFK,
Sabrina Carpenter's new album.
Fishing.
Yeah. Bait, being eaten alive.
Jim.
Glenn Campbell.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, because waiting for the
Right,
word.
follow the worms. Yeah, that actually stuck out of my head for some reason in the days afterward. Waiting to follow the worms. And now here's the thing. The fact that I hold on to that one tells me something. That was also part of the process being laid out is you're going to say something that is going to stick with you. It's like, this seems important, relevant. Another thing, for some reason, when they're on my hands, they start at a certain color. They're sort of black and gray and silvery. And then by the time they're at my arms and legs, they're white. They're like maggots. That probably means something too. So I could associate it's like, all right, what does the black and gray silvery color of them mean? It's like metallic, alien. They look kind of like the Xenobites. They could put possibly sort of reptilian almost, because almost like snake skin. Slime, these things. You can piddle these off one by one, and you're going to start finding the associations you're making that actively call to you, because that is, those are your signs. You have to follow a little bit of your intuition here. But when you get all of these when you do that with all of the symbols, you identify all of them and like what they mean, not just as like, oh, this is what this means here. You start relating them to the complexes inside your head, the ideas of here are the processes and archetypes and ideas and behaviors that rule and work themselves out in me on a day-to-day basis. And here is how they are being played out in this dream. And that leads you to step 3, which is interpretation, where you're going to actually sit and write out your interpretation of this dream. And you're going to work with it until it does reveal something. So for the sake of argument, say I identified all these symbols, and the conclusion I came to was that I feel like I am being eaten alive by my job, or that that my notions and compulsions to self-sacrifice for other people are ultimately going to destroy me. Let's say we'll go with that one. Say that that the worms represent the same thing that get me to stay there and like, oh, don't worry guys, I'll handle this. You guys go off to lunch, that sort of thing. Right. That I'm willing to do everything for other people, even though it is going to tear me apart. That's my
Right.
interpretation. The last step is called ritual, where having understood the psychological problem and what it represents, I have to figure out some way to create a symbolic gesture, a symbolic action using these symbols in a way that is ritualistic. This is where magic is. Like, this is like literally taking your intent and your understanding of these symbols and then doing something with them in order to solidify the realization so that you may break it and act out in your life in a way that is not, or just in a way that is conducive to the path you're trying to take forward.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. There's
say I don't have a super great example, but say like my ultimate. Oh, here's one. I will get a bottle of tequila with the worm in it, and I will instead of worrying about other people's problem, I have a night where I have a good stiff drink, and
Do you drink the worm?
Yeah, drink the worm. There you go.
This sounds like alcoholism, is what you just described.
And then my hands shake. My
Said,
hands shake
maybe
at
as
the
a
thought of
counter,
it. That's how you know it's working.
As long as I frame this bottle of tequila magically, it'll be fine.
And like I said, this is not a great example because this is somewhat on the fly. I didn't feel the need to show a genuine interpretation just to illustrate the idea.
Word.
But I think
yeah.
And it is the same problem of Freud, though, in that when you come at things with the Jungian root of analysis, it's gonna fit, it's gonna work because
we made the joke that it's about your penis and your mommy, for the same thing with Jung. If you're a Jungian, it's not all your dreams are going to be about, and I think that's the big thing. It's not all your dreams are going to be these sort of revelations from the collective unconscious with these amazing symbols in them and such. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Some
what I feel
might
like
be
a
a
lot of
little
people are
silly.
looking for. Yeah, right. It's like,
but the other thing is that your life is a little silly sometimes. So maybe you expecting like super mythical epic dreams don't, maybe that's doing yourself a disservice and your dreams a disservice.
Right. That's actually what I was going to say. One of my favorite guys, we don't talk about him on the show enough, actually, Arthur Jung, inventor of the Bell helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite people. Very interesting. The theory of process is really interesting stuff. If any of you guys can go find a copy of The Reflexive Universe or The Geometry of Meaning, give them a read. They're fun. They're interesting. But one of the big things with his theory of process is this. We'll call it I think he refers to it as an angle, but it's literally like a triangle or like a V, where it shows how things come down to a certain level and then rise up to a higher level, and there's parallels between them, and it starts with like the photon and it goes all the way down to a person, and then it goes to like these higher psychological kind of ideas. I'll show it to you if you don't know what I'm talking about, co-host. But I remember you've seen Arthur Jung before, right?
Well,
no, we've talked about this. I've read some of his stuff.
The symmetry in all existence and all life and stuff like that is something that is I mean, mathematics has a lot of that.
He talks about where he actually got the idea for that, and it was from a dream, and it's not from like something that you would think would be super important, especially with how weird it is. He said he watched like a Tin Man, like, Wizard of Oz looking kind of guy, walking down a set of stairs, and he tripped and he fell, and when he landed, he was in that kind of V shape. And that's where the idea came from.
Holy shit.
It sounds like a very stupid fucking dream, but that was the cornerstone of this man's entire philosophical work.
That is wild.
The images and symbols that the unconscious communicates with us with are unique and diverse. And I think that's one of the big things that everyone forgets. And you've banged on it before, co-host, right? The archetype is not the archetypal image.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just because something comes on in a certain guise, it doesn't mean that that's the end all be all. And in fact, as you will go through, you'll often find that the same sort of archetype can and will appear in different guises if you go down that road. At the bare minimum, you can acknowledge that the same ideas can be expressed in a myriad of different ways. It's not like one symbol, like, oh, if I see worms in my dream, they're not going to mean the same thing every time.
Right, yeah,
Worms
there's
in my
no-
dream, so don't call me a wormhead.
I feel like people misunderstand the idea of archetypes, so they think they can do stuff like dream dictionaries, where it's like, oh, you had a dream about you had a dream with a clock in it. Here's what it could mean. You had
Yeah.
a dream with a snake in it. Here's what it could mean.
You had a dream where you peed yourself?
You just drank too
I
much
mean, that-
water.
I mean, that never happens to any of us, but you know.
I mean, I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Gary, especially. To go in a different direction, right? But still encroaching forward in time, we have a more practical approach to dreaming via Carlos Castaneda. And this will also go, this also goes into lucid dreaming, because lucid dreaming is a very, not really magical. Like, you know, it's definitely a thing that has like in that vein, and also to an extent that the dream yoga stuff that I'm talking about is lucid dreaming with a added bend to it of like you're lucid dreaming and then you're doing specific stuff while you're dreaming. Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, described dreaming versus the true dreaming, or the dream, you know, the sorcerer's dreaming, where he would say, look at your hands, look at your hands, look at your hands. So every time you were dreaming, you would be learning to look at your hands and find them. The idea of, so that whenever you were going into the dream state, you were able to immediately realize you were dreaming, look at your hands, make your hands solid, as in they are not subject to that shifty, bendy, warping dream aspect that things so often take on.
Or you're comfortable with the room turning into another room and it's fine. And
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Where you walk through a door and now the doorway is gone and you're like in the ocean, you know?
You picked up something to hit something
Yeah.
with, and it like flops around in your hand.
then
Yeah.
your sheets
It's-
like wet
it's the
for
idea
some
of
stupid reason.
Yeah, and then that never happens to us, but yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea of using your focus to make your hands real, and then by extension, like making yourself real, solid. What you're doing really is projecting a reality or a described experience onto the dream-like miasma, lack of a better term, I guess. I don't know.
I like miasma. It's a good word.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Mitote, or I'm probably not
all
saying
right,
that
well,
right. I got
you-
that from the four. I got that from the four agreements, but it's like the smoke.
You
right?
got four
The thing
four
that you
thumbs up on the
project-
first word, but okay.
You were fine, but you want to throw another word that you don't know how to pronounce either. Go for it. But there's the putting this reality onto the dream stuff. And then so you're looking at your hands, and then you start looking around the room, and you're trying to make everything solid. And when things start to go all wonky on you, you go back to your anchor point of looking at your hands, right?
Right.
So you keep doing that until you can maintain the scene around you. And then it becomes the point of making sure that you resolve to dream of certain places at certain times, so that you can begin putting that reality of where you're at what time, into your dreams, so that your dreams take on a solid quality where you can now act upon them. So the idea would be that eventually I'm able to dream of Gary's garage, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pet the kitties, because I
Pet the
keep hearing
kitties.
I'm going to pet the kitties, and I'm
Little
going to leave out
kitty.
I'm going to leave out a little saucer of milk for him.
That's really
And
sweet.
the idea is that if I do it properly, Gary's going to somehow, Gary's going to walk into his garage and he's going to be like, where does saucer of milk come from?
I'm gonna go in my garage and
Say, this milk is
put my car
expired.
on. Get some exhaust fumes in that bitch.
Damn.
No.
Those poor kitties.
do one of them sea turtle expenditures with their children. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Okay, no,
but
now
I'm
now
scared.
now I was confused, and now I'm just frightened. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't piss the bed, guys. Fuck.
So, what else can be done with dreams magically? We discussed dream yoga a little bit before this, which is again interesting practice, interesting idea. I've seen lots of people describe the benefits of doing magic with lucid dreaming. I haven't had much luck with it. How about you?
I've had some dreams where I've become aware that I was dreaming and I've done mantra, or I've had moments where I was lucid and I've tried to do things to take advantage of the dream. I'm not nearly as good at it as I'd like to be. What I've really been trying to get good at this point is just being able to become aware that I am dreaming while letting the dream play out, And I've had times where I've recorded my dreams and done really well and been consistent with it, and then I've done times where I've tried to analyze them and I've gotten useful stuff out of it. I've taken symbols in my dreams and things like that and done magic with them, like taken them out and ritualized them in those sort of ways. And I've had success. It's been good stuff. Sadly, I don't think I'm as practiced as I wish I was or as I could be. It is hard, you know. Sometimes when you get that's the thing, when you get a lack of sleep, I think it makes it really hard to remember your dreams. And then sometimes if
Yeah.
you don't get enough sleep, you just don't actually, your brain doesn't get to the part where where you're supposed to start dreaming. So
Yeah, you're just in
sometimes
the your body just gets to the oh god, everything hurts part.
So
And it's like fuck, we didn't even get to do anything cool tonight.
yeah.
I was gonna send us back to school again.
I do enjoy recording my dreams. My dreams are it does definitely feel that when I do take my dreams seriously and I try to record them and I try to remember them, that more useful things will come to the surface. When I don't take them seriously and I don't care, that's when I find myself going, "Oh yeah, man, my dreams are always nonsense and they don't really mean anything."
Same.
For example, like with my beloved, right? And I don't know if this is a consistent thing, if women tend to remember dreams better than men or what, but I just know that my mother, pretty much every girlfriend I've had, or most of them at least, seem to be able to tell me these incredibly vivid and narratively consistent dreams of things that happened. And they'll tell, my mom could tell me a 45-minute story about what she dreamed the night before.
My mom's
then
got some
I'm like-
craziest stories.
See, right?
Like
So,
sleep
okay.
stories, man. It's good. I agree.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
bizarre
yeah.
shit.
Okay, so-
like
But I try to remember my dreams, and it's like the worm thing is probably that's like one of the most like consistent, like, yeah, this was a pretty A to B, but then like doing Mike Tyson's Punch Out with the man bear pig, it's like, yeah, that's pretty wild, huh? Yeah. But like, how do we get here? Shit.
how do we fix this, guys?
But and I'm not sure, so I don't know if that's a consistent thing. I just know, like, in my experience, that's something that I seem to notice.
Oh,
But yeah, I definitely, but I will also say that my dreams, when I try to pay attention to them, they have more to show me.
I agree. That's been my experience too. I think that's the only real advice I can give about paying attention to and interpreting your dreams is that if you consistently do it and engage with it, it will lead to more things. Because every period in my life where I've had consistent engagement with my dreams, it only gets easier to remember them and I get more of them.
Well, that kind of points towards some psychological repetition of just how neurons work of like in the same way that we focus on something, it becomes more of a habit or perceptive, or we become more aware of that pattern that we see in life, right? I bet you
Yeah.
that's very similar in how the dream state. It's that reinforcement you're talking about. Find the hands, make it. It's you could do that with a lot of stuff, and it's pointing towards you're just making synapses fire in a way that is consistent and building that bridge.
Yeah, I definitely can't get into the neurology of it super specifically, but from what I've been told and what little I've read, fucking, oh God, what's the goddamn name? Walter Freeman. Yeah. Walter Freeman has a lot of ideas related to that sort of, I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for here is, conditioning maybe.
Right, like how you can build out
how
that stuff.
how repetitive practices and things like that allow for not only the building of these physical habituated kind of neurological structures, but also those structures being what giving us like the background of what's going on and keeping
the
making
inference,
things
the
intelligible for us.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, with a, you know, again, big on my Heidegger kick. That's where I get Walter Freeman from, was, you know, Herbert. But yeah, there's just this sort of way that engaging with a practice makes it easier for you to access it and make things intelligible in the terms of the practice. So, you know, like you said, you develop the habit of looking at your hands and trying to like keep focused on it during dreams. You can develop that skill a lot better because it's just a repetitive thing that you do, and set yourself up in a position that you can understand that you're in a dream and how to react to that environment.
And there's
Does that
lots
make
of
sense?
there's lots of things like that to go from dreams, like with your hands, but also like seeing if there's mouths on people, if it's people that you've seen throughout your days. I mean, there's I mean, like you said, book dictionaries, I think, co-host, or I don't know who said that, but
Co-host.
I'm sorry.
are you
I'm
good?
sorry. What? I missed that.
Oh, you're good.
I
Just
suck.
dreams are crazy, bro, and I don't piss my pants.
No, seriously, what were you asking?
We were talking about the various tells that you can have to figure out when you're in dreams and stuff. And
Oh, that's
G mentioned the trying to read books or something like that.
Oh yeah,
There's all kinds of like isms or ways that you can
Oh, yeah.
perpetuate
Well,
lucid
there's
dreaming and other things like that.
Yeah, well, there's the reality check one. It seems like a modified version of the look at your hands thing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them they're very similar contingencies of like do a thing or look at a thing that's
To
normal.
see if
and if it's not normal, that's how
see
you
if
know.
you're dreaming. Yeah. I think largely because I don't fully go in on a Jungian model, and I don't agree with the Freudian model, blah blah blah. I think one of the best things you can do is just get good at recording your dreams. Yeah, just get good. No, but I would say get good at remembering them, get good at recording them, and really do take them seriously. You spend a lot of time sleeping and therefore a lot of time dreaming. So there has to be something important going on while you're doing this. And whether you need to understand them in psychological terms or even taking a more classical approach and understanding them as like dreams are that space where the divine or the spiritual can open up and talk to you and communicate something, you need to take them seriously in that regard. And part of that, I think, for most of us is like recording them and
Documenting
trying
and processing
to
those.
recall them. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to go off a separate tangent entirely, but there is something kind of lateral to this that I recently saw that got my mind spinning on the possibility of archival of dreams and also just in general your every second of your day. There's a everyone has some fucking pin or AI assistant of some kind that does something now. But one that I saw that was really cool was this open source project where this gentleman had set up a pair of effectively like Google Glass, like video camera style overhead display things on his glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And the main use case of it, though, was actually to document every interval of his life in a recorded video fashion, as well as with an AI description of any kind of conversations had, and like full meta tagging of every instance. And
that sounds awful.
Well, the use case of it
Black
was
Mirror
perfect
episode ruined my marriage.
It's totally Black Mirror.
Black Mirror episode ruined my marriage.
Well, it's Robin Williams, The Final Cut.
Yeah,
the
that's actually more accurate.
The pros of it though are well, outside of our brains not being machines to store things, we could actually even offload interpretive like energies to this archived instance of you.
I barely trust myself to interpret my stupid bullshit. I ain't gonna trust no robot.
Oh, I mean on the pure example of, hey, what was that fucking commercial I saw the other day? That was like for like some cool wash rag or something.
And you know what? It's gonna get hijacked by the fucking company that paid the goddamn fucking AI generating analyzer for my fucking
and then the
memories,
robot-
essentially.
Then the robot's
And it's
gonna
be
make
like,
you.
what was
the
that?
robot's gonna backdoor you, and you're gonna dream about that stupid wash rag, and then it's gonna be fucking Futurama, where you're gonna have fucking ads in your dreams.
Yep, you're fucked.
Ah,
Could you imagine? Could you imagine a service that gives you perpetual lucid dreaming for a low subscription of 3 advertisements a night? Isn't that
my
just
God.
isn't that
If you
dystopian
sign
as
up for the
fuck?
Patreon for $5 a month, I will show up in your dreams and give you a little kiss.
Give you a little smoochy smooch, a little peck on the cheek. If you're doing something that's not sleep related in your dream, we'll put you right to sleep.
Wow. I was gonna talk about Burroughs, but like here's the super short version. Burroughs talked about dreams being a somewhat detached temporally.
Like they're not neither in time or structure. Like they're just-
Exactly, where it's and sometimes you'll catch glimpses of the future in your
that's
dreams.
what I was gonna talk about, man.
He's like, but his problem is like whenever I get him, it's like it's always just stupid shit where it's like I had a dream where a shelf or a dresser was like floating across in a hallway, and then it happened in real life, but it turned out it was because there was a guy carrying it from behind that I couldn't see until he moved in the right spot, and this dream was totally useless. Like didn't do me any damn good.
Dude, I have multiple times throughout my life, and this is also a poignant return to my point of the brain sucks at storage, because it could be that I just have past memories and I'm interpreting them in a way that makes them feel like I had dreams about them or some sort of like I don't know. I'm not going to go down that path, but there are multiple times in my life, throughout my life, that I have had deja vu in a way that it has to be from a previous dream I had very recently up to that point. As in, like, I'm looking at the future. And it's all been about stuff that is not important. Just like you said. Like, it is
always
straight up.
it's always stupid bullshit. It's
Well,
never
it's-
like
it's always
lotto
just like-
numbers.
It's just moments in time. It's nothing good or bad, usually. It's like,
It's just
a
your-
thing
it's your-
happened, and I go,
Your
oh,
boss walks up to you and says, "Hey, there's coffee in the break room."
yeah.
And then
I go,
as
I've
you're
done
saying,
that.
you're already mouthing the words, "I just put more sugar out there," because you know they're about to say that, and you're like, I knew you were gonna say that, but fucking who cares? Because it doesn't do anything other than make me feel weird for a minute.
Yeah, it makes me go, oh, that's wild. Either he does that all the time, which is also a truth in that example, but like that's where we start getting into the heady nature of dreams and anything related to deja vu or interpretation of time in this way. It's like maybe our brains are just fucking dicks. Maybe
Yeah,
we're
maybe
just
they're
like
just
really
lying to you.
we're not really good primordial animals, and we just need to like have better we just need to get good.
Just get good, listener. That's the message.
Get good and give us
get good.
$5.
I think I talked about this before, but I had Grant Morrison show up in a dream and tell me something about magic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that if you ever meet them, you're
If I
gonna
ever meet them, I'm gonna be like, "What were you trying to tell me again? Like, do you remember that?"
because not only do I
I'm
remember
like,
that, but I'm not
just-
telling you now.
I just half expect them to just be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was on the train, right?"
Yeah, it's him telling you to shove off and like that. Like he's like, yeah,
No,
of
he's
course I
gonna
remember
like
that. Yeah,
he's gonna like I just thought he like yes and me to play into the mystique of spooky wizard.
Or he's actually a spooky wizard and he does remember.
Yeah.
And he said something about, I thought you were going to talk about this on your podcast. I thought it'd be a fun story.
I knew we were going to talk about it on CNN.
I gave this to you just so you'd have something, just so you'd have this one dumb story to keep bringing
You guys
up.
are coming up on your 3 million viewers in 3 years.
Well, do we have anything else we want to say about dreams?
Follow your dreams.
For some reason, if you get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, you turn into a file. So don't be files out there, okay, guys?
Oh,
whoa.
oh,
Okay, I get it.
other dream.
There you
Oh,
go.
got
There
it.
you
I
go.
get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got
That's
it.
called a
funny.
roundabout.
Well, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
And thunder rain.
Is it time for the palate cleanser?
Yeah. So, how goes the work? Guys,
Yeah.
It's Chaturthi.
It's Chaturthi.
It's Ganesha Chaturthi.
Yeah, it is the
Woo!
first day of Chaturthi. So that means by the time that this episode comes out, Chaturthi will probably have just ended.
Just ended. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Oh man, Chaturthi was great, wasn't it, guys?
Wasn't
Don't we
Chaturthi
love it?
cool?
But yeah, I mean that's what my work is right now. I'm focusing purely on Chaturthi. I will tell you, it's the first day, and Ganesha already had my back. Today was supposed to be a complete clusterfuck of a day for me. It's what I thought it was going to be right from the beginning. And what happened? Ganesha removed every obstacle I could have faced today. Every single one of them, to a ridiculous degree. It's very funny.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice when.
And what did
just
I do
things-
first thing this morning? I woke up an hour early before I had to go to work, just so I could sit down, play some archery, give some offerings, say
God,
some
that's such a good
mantra,
feeling.
and get about my day. And you know what I did when I got to work? I fucking put Ganesha up on my little computer screen, and anytime I had a moment, I would just look over at him. I'd say some mantra. I'd prostrate real quick, and I'd go back to doing my work. It was a good time, a good day. So thank you, Ganapati. We love you. You're our favorite.
Wow.
Sorry, Hanuman. What about you?
Well, I mean, really, I don't think I have anything to add to that. Chaturthi's dope. Ganesh is dope.
I've definitely not been very magical as of late. So, with that in mind, I've started with Chaturthi, printed up a resin Ganesha, and but from that, I mean, dog days really fucked me up. If I'm going to be honest with you, in some ways, not that you don't point towards a single ritual of anything to be your absolutes on why or why not something happened, but
You could.
you could. I guess I'm not, is what my point is. There's shit just drops and it gets funky for a second sometimes. But yeah, I'm feeling better with today, and I don't know, some headspace has gotten clearer. Some things look to be better off in the near future. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about stuff,
Just keep your mind focused on the big guy and let him solve all those problems for you.
Yeah.
He's Vigneshwara, man. He's the remover of obstacles, man.
Gonna get all them fucking obstacles out of my way.
Gonna eat all them peanuts.
Dude, how cool would it be if like tomorrow an elephant just like destroys my house and then I get to sue a zoo company that let him run rampant and I get millions of dollars.
I would be okay with that as long as it didn't hurt the kitties.
It wouldn't hurt the kitties because the car would have done that already.
Oh,
Hey, it's also called a roundabout. That's what you drive on.
I'm
the car.
Dice.
Hey, Ganesh.
Ganapati. Namo Namaha. Oh.
Oh my God, we have to find a Dice Clay AI voice and have him do rituals for us.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right. With all of that said,
This has been Chaturthi Magic News, the only 24/7 all Ganesha podcast.
as always, if you require the necessary empowerments to post things online, you can get it at chaosmagicnews.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Chaos Magic News. We're also on Threads. We also have a Discord where all these lovely people are celebrating Chaturthi with us, and that's really, really cool.
There's also a thread where
it's
you can
so
submit
great.
your dreams, and we're not going to use it to harvest more content out of you.
We're not feeding it into the algorithm so we can get in on the ground floor of the AI dream analysis.
The next big bop is what they call it.
We also have a Patreon where if you haven't had enough of us yet, you can hear us talk about things like the occult iceberg, where we're going through each tier and breaking them down into little 30 to 40-minute videos. It's a little more laid back. It's a little, I know you're thinking, how much more laid back can you guys get?
Hey, dude,
But
this is my
They're
fucking
a fun
A game.
time and it helps. It's fun stuff and it helps support the show. And if you'd like to support the show in other ways, you could go on to YouTube, Spotify, Audible, just wherever you're listening to this, and leave a review, like, comment, engage with the stuff. Just help us pump that algorithm a little more. And just thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you do support us on Patreon, you get to be part of the best segment of the entire show, where I read the names of all the patrons. So, thank you, Liz. Thank you, Local. Thank you, Cios93. Thank you, Pope Loki Sater the 23rd. Thank you, Andrea WK. Thank you, Obsbleck. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Acolyte 1 of the Ice Magic Meditation Society. Thank you, Cursed T. Thank you, Fyodor Krasny. Thank you, Venus Christ. Thank you, Tent Athena. Thank you, Bearded Vegan. Thank you, Treymob. Thank you, Tangy Darling. Thank you, DD Destruction. Thank you, Toziel Obscurus. Thank you, Lavender Ghost. Thank you, Tommy Kelly. Thank you, Double Deerid. Thank you, Equinox Painter. And thank you, Jaybird. Thank you all so much. We really couldn't do this without you. We absolutely just adore every single one of you. We're going to show up in all your dreams, give you a little kiss on the forehead.
Peck you into sleep. We're going to wake you up and then put you right back to sleep. And that's not a threat. That's a nice promise.
Bushel and a peck and a hand around your neck.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, I'm Dice?
Oh. Oh.
All right. Would anybody like the last word?
You know what? I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. I'll try my best. I'll do what I can right now. I'll do what I can with the time I got.
Bro, did you pee the bed?
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. Let's go ahead and we got all the giggles out. Let's do a
We're
good
doing
one,
it. We're
yeah?
going. That's the segue. That's the segue. Dreams.
No, you can't do that one.
We're totally doing that one. It's like a bad dream, isn't it? Oh.